Okay, we're getting going here. Let's do our usual audio check, make sure everything's working correctly. Okay, we're getting... Sounds good. How are you all? How are you all? Gather, my children. Today we have silliness and news. So... CA is releasing a bunch of these like 10-second shorts that reveal nothing and do nothing, and I am not excited about them. Some people are, and if you are, that's fine. It's just not my cup of tea. It just zooming in on a door in the Empire does not fill me with excitement. Or there's one where it's just a tree, and it's like, what lurks in the forest? And it zooms in on this tree with slightly ominous music, but it doesn't tell me anything. I'm like, all right, pass. So, if that is your vibe, hopefully you're having fun with it. I'm just like, get on with it. We need some news. This shit's supposed to come out in like, by the end of August. So you have like 3 weeks left to release this shit. And I know nothing about it. Except for a Jade Dragon. I don't know. Also, this is our last Warhammer related stream for a week. Rule number 1 about Warhammer Fight Club: don't talk about Warhammer Fight Club. But then why would you have me stream it? Because then all I do is talk about it. And I'll get to the event in a second. I'm just letting people gather. This is our last Warhammer stream for a week. If you take a look at our planned streams, we have 4 more in the next 7 days. We have a Dark Souls stream, a Skyrim stream, a Puppet Master stream, and a League of Legends stream. Those will all be very fun. But yeah, just gonna take a little break from L Warhammer. Don't want to burn out on casting Warhammer stuff, and then the DLC comes out and you're already running on half a tank of gas. You know what I mean? Just want to be fresh going into the DLC coverage. So gonna give myself a little bit of time off here to play other games and hang out with people. Complain about dwarves? No. Alright, what is the next DLC? It's Tzeentch, Cathay, Kislev, right? Yeah. Do talk about Warhammer Fight Club, I see. Well, we're 1 minute over the original start time. So let's just get on with it. Warhammer Fight Club was an event organized by CoolUmbrella. It's not casual. I'm sure the players will be wanting to win, but there's no prize, there's no teams or anything. It's more debuted how he explained it to me. What up, Green One? How you doing? He explained it to me sort of like a boxing match. You know how there's like smaller fights and then there's the big fight at the top, right? So for our undercard is what I think you call it. There is General Isambard versus Lucinia Marzik, Babarat versus Salinator, Nalnish versus Fat Kid at Recess, Cyrus versus Boojilicious, and then that part of the graphic needs to be changed. It's going to be CoolUmbrella versus Rider of Rohan, and John FB versus its current year for 2 best of 3s. The 4 at the bottom are best of 1s. The 2 just under the Sabrus and Phoenix King are best of 3s. And then Sabrus Regnum versus Phoenix King is going to be a best of 5 live. The rest will be replays. So just some matchups, just some silliness. Should be good. Samrak with a Bach. It's like a boxing gala, pretty much Sun Tzu tournaments. Yar. So let's get started. I'll start from the bottom, work my way up. We had Lucinia versus General Isambard. Who's the best rush player? I don't know. Probably Blood Penguin or Berserk. Probably Blood Penguin or Berserk. Romeo. Hello. Let's get all these blockers out of the way. Demons of Chaos versus Tzeentch. And we have double Soul Grinder of Slanesh. Why? Why, Pegaz? Why did you do that? I'm concerned about this build. Hey, Strat. Ugh. I had a week where I wasn't sleepy. Now I'm back to being sleepy all the time. I don't know if I consider Strat a rush player, though. I'd have to play him more. When I played Strat, he usually plays, like, pseudo boxes. Pseudo boxes or blobs. But that's mostly when he's playing Skaven or one of the demonic factions or something. Or his Beastman double Gorgon jabber thing. But, yeah. Because I think of Rush like a wider build, not like you have 4 single entities and barely any infantry and that's a Rush. I think that's just a blob. Alright. Do you know that the Soul Grinders of Khorne are just Bretonnian peasants who refused to stop farming after they died? I don't think that's true. CJ? So you got me there. Alright, we gotta go through these armies, guys. You can't keep distracting me with nonsense. We got 4 Nurglings, 5 Blue Horrors, 4 Plague Toads of Nurgle, a Herald of Nurgle with Rites of Visitations, Fleshy Abundance, and Locus of Fecundity, and then 2 Soul Grinders of Slaanesh. Those are 2 very expensive spells. I think you only want 1 very expensive spell, because I don't think you're going to cast enough of these 2 to get your value out of them. You know what I mean? If you have 2 expensive spells like that, you usually want, like, 2 cheap spells, a cheap spell, an expensive spell, or just an expensive spell. Thanks for all you do, BF Flyer. I appreciate the $10 donation, the £10 donation. I don't deserve it, but I do accept it, and I thank you for your efforts. All right, what we're doing? Tzeentch build? Yeah. 5 Marauders in the front line, 5 Horrors, 2 of which are pink Horrors, interestingly enough. Do have a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch of Metal, Final Transmutation, Plague of Rust, and Searing Doom. 2 Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch, 2 Furies, 2 Screamers, and 1 Chaos Warrior with Halberds. And for now, we have the graphics card destroying Rainbow Bullet Fest. I hear a Searing Doom, but where? There it is. Searing Doom getting a little bit of damage as this guy is going to charge in. You do deserve it? Nah. I would deserve it if I was strat game. Or CoolUmbrella. But I'm not that cool. I'm just not that cool. One of them's even a cool umbrella, which is way cooler than a human boy. What up, Alvarad? How you doing? All right, the front line going not so great for either side. Honestly, a lot of damage is getting thrown out very quickly here. Nurglings getting disintegrated a little bit. Plague Toads pushing right on through, and that is going to be a big problem for Tzeentch here. Because once these horrors get disrupted, they're decent melee combatants, but they're not going to, like, kill anybody. And wow, speaking of killing somebody, Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch having a terrible time fighting the Soul Grinder. The Soul Grinder just runs him down and beats his ass. Plague of Rust, Overcast, trying to lower the armor of the Soul Grinder Slaanesh for these Spearmen to do good damage. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. Soul Grinders are 3 speeds slower than our friend the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, but with the Herald of Nurgle following him around. I don't know if he's going to be allowed to rally. Because that guy's 90 speed, so yeah, it looks like Tzeentch might have just lost their lord. Meanwhile, for the demons, still pushing forward, still doing well. The forces of Tzeentch are trying to rid themselves of these toads, and actually 2 of them are demonic instability crumbling, so the south side of this fight is getting secured for Tzeentch, and then they can turn and support the north side. But I do think the loss of the lord is going to be just too much for them. Without that leadership and without the magic, it's going to be oof. Hey, Eisenbart, how you doing? Soul Grinders giving up their pursuit of the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch. They know they can't keep up, so instead they just fought some Furies for a bit. The Furies and Screamers look like they're coming over here to get a little bit of action. While these Horrors, I wish the Horrors would turn and fire up on this north side of the fight where there's a bunch of stuff they could clear out. It looks like they are just opting over here, but these are some melee fights that aren't going to matter. If you don't stop these toads with your ranged before they get free and kill all these guys, you're going to have a really bad time. Though I suppose you do have some Halberd warriors in there. Still prefer to see those Horrors aim northwards. Furies fight the Herald of Nurgle, but their leadership is atrocious, and then without your lord it gets even worse, so they just, like, they're surrounding him, beating him up, and they still full crumble from 3/4 HP. I don't see people take that many pinks. I like pink horrors versus low armor factions, so versus demons, I get it. I get it. These fights were mopped up. But now can the horrors turn up this way? And can anybody do anything about the 3 powerful single entities returning to the fight? I don't think so. Toads are going to get lit up. Tons of damage onto them. Can you get that critical demonic instability going? Looks like the answer will soon be yes. And those halberds are holding. But I don't know if those halberds can kill everything. More crumbling on this side. All 3 toads that remained... Oh, wait, it was just 2. The flag was over here for some reason. Both toads that remained are gone. Blue horrors are also leaving. Very swiftly, the Nurgle army, the Demons of Chaos army, I should say, is down to 200 models, but the bounce power is massively in their favor due to the HP of those models over there. Goodbye, Nurglings. Goodbye, Blue Horrors. Goodbye, everything. Good night, Moon. If you give a Nurgling a cookie, it'll ask you for the flu. Soul grinders. Grinding some souls. How healthy are those halberds? Quite healthy, honestly. Okay. That's the only real way for Nurgle back in this game. Overcast and Fleshy Abundance going to heal all of them up. I don't know if that was necessary just yet. Felt like things were doing fine. Nurglings in the distance are chasing down some stuff, but Screamers are coming over to say hello to the Herald of Nurgle. And I imagine if they catch him, he will immediately land. So the Nurglings are fulfilling the attacking order for the Demons of Chaos, which looks like why they're being so cagey about this. What up, Malvi? How you doing? Is the stream buffering for others? On my left-hand screen, I don't see it buffering, and I'm watching it live with you to see your responses and stuff. Anyway, the final fight has commenced with a little bit of range support from the Pink Horrors and these halberds. I actually do think that the Demons of Chaos could lose it. Now, I would still bet on them, but I don't think it's completely over just yet. Leadership for Tzeentch is already faltering. These Screamers are going to take a lot of friendly fire damage, but they do a good amount. They have anti-large armor piercing versus all of these big guys. And these Nurglings are so far off, I think they'll show up probably too late to change the outcome one way or the other. Balance of power shifts further against Tzeentch. Well, I think that is a little silly. It's what we get. Locus of Fecundity trying to heal up the Soul Grinder and the Herald. The Herald's leadership is dipping. If you can get him to crumble, that would be massive for your chances in this game. Because then you lose the Lord and whatever, and that's just so much balance of power. Because balance of power is Tzeentch's worst enemy right now, as the Screamers barely hold on to life. Something is getting targeted. Rancid Visitations onto the Halberd Warriors, by far the most important unit left on the Tzeentch roster. Bounce power still flirting with disaster, but the Herald of Nurgle is getting real close to demonic instability crumbling. And Tzeentch is like, yes, please, please crumble, you stupid frog bastard. There he goes, and he rallies. We saw it for just a millisecond as the Pink Horrors continue to fire at the Soul Grinder of Tzeentch. More Soul Grinders opt in. There's going to be army losses, despite the fact that the Herald is getting his ass kicked. Does not matter. And bounce power definitely overfavors mages a little bit there. For Lucinia, 1400 on his Herald of Nurgle. Not great values on the Soul Grinders, honestly. Blue Horrors did well. Nurglings didn't get a lot of value. And Plague Toads were decent disruption, but they also didn't get a lot of value. Why is he down there, CoolUmbrella? I don't know. I just work here. For Eisenbart, his Lord got sniped right away, so didn't get to participate very much. Screamers did well. Pink Horrors overall did well. Skirmish Cab also overall did well. Furies did okay. Blue Horrors did fine, and Marauders, meh. Did you know Khorne, Marauder, Horse, and Three-Axe don't have shields because they have bonus for symmetry? Mr. Casual, I did know that. I also know that, like, very few people got the point of that video. Very few people. That was fun. Alright, so first match is done. Lucinia taking the W on that one. And next up is Bavarat versus Salinator. Norska and Vampire counts. Whoops, whoops, whoops. There we go. Salinator has been crushing it on Vampire counts recently. Him and Wyatt are two quite good Vampire counts players who are hanging around playing the VC since their nerfs. So we'll see how he does here against Norska. For Norska and Bavarat, it's a bunch of dogs. 4 Ice Wolves, 3 Skin Wolves. Then we have Marauders and Marauder Champions. Wow, 3 Marauder Champions, 5 Marauders. Throg the Troll King with his regeneration, and that is it. No fight or die, nothing like that. And then a Salmon Sorcerer of Fire with just Burning Head. Clear out Zumbas. Clear out some Zombas. For the Forces of the Vampire counts, we have double Vargeist, a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord with Invocation of Heck and the Zombie Summon, triple Crypt Horror, a bunch of zombies, 2 Graveguard with great weapons in the back to support them, and a Necromancer, the Strokey Stroke Rod and the Unholy Lodestone for passive healing, and then 2 Direwolves, one of which is the Dire Pack ROR. Have you considered covering any domination content? I have tried before. The viewership was really bad, Tunguska Blast. I also just don't find it that interesting personally. So my heart isn't in it, the audience isn't there, and it's just not for me. I don't really enjoy casting domination or watching it personally. That's just me. Do you know Bretonnian peasants are secretly controlled by 3 chaos gods? I will pass on that one. Anyway, the front lines are engaged. Vargeist diving down onto the Norskan Ice Wolves, getting them close to routing. And there they go. Norskan Ice Wolves have really good stats, but their leadership is not one of them. They are a dog unit after all. Fair enough, thanks for the answer. Hell yeah. I know Turin, I know the Wild Platy, both cover domination on their channels. If you aren't subscribed to the Wild Platy or Turin, go do that. They're both great. And he is just the Wild Platy on YouTube. He's a good guy. He's also really good at domination, so he has good insights. Alright. Blood Dragon Lord has dove in. There isn't a whole lot to talk about, as this was just taking 2 action figures and smushing them together immediately. So there's not a lot of analysis, as well. Everything piled straight into the front line, and now we're just seeing how it works out. The Dire Pack are trading up into some Skinwolves and Norskan Ice Wolves, which is nice to see, and a huge Burning Head from Norska just rips through the middle of both forces, honestly. Zombies taking a lot of damage there. Throg is dove on by the Blood Dragon Lord, but the Blood Dragon Lord is having troubles actually finishing him off. He seems to be getting distracted a lot by all the chaff. Meanwhile, Skinwolves were trying to protect him, Norskan Ice Wolves were trying to protect him. And they did okay. I mean, like, the Crypt Horrors and stuff took a lot of damage, but now it's still Throg just stuck in the middle of an unholy mess of enemy models. So he's not having a good time. Norska is slightly behind on the balance of power, and I would tend to agree. So they needed their Skinwolves and Dogs to secure the flanks first, and then, like, cycle charge in a bunch, rather than... It looks like they just committed to the blob fight, which now Skinwolves' shit leadership is leaving them in a bit of a problem. The Dogs are also constantly routing. Marauder Champions are probably in here grinding away somewhere. Yeah, it looks like they're still going, but... I mean, it's tough to win a grind fight with the counts. Even without a Mortis Engine, it's just the persistent healing that Graveguard and zombies get from the Corpse Cart and all this stuff. Another big Burning Head actually rips right through this front line, though. Yeah, didn't hit that many Marauders, just killed off some stuff. Nice. And Throg is still alive in here? I honestly don't know how. I just don't know. Vargeist getting a little low. They are fragile creatures, so while they have their own healing and stuff, they can't afford to just sit around and take damage. And Norska is getting their 3rd, 4th, and 5th wind as more Dogs and Skinwolves come back and then run away immediately, and then come back and then run away immediately. Throg still fighting in the middle of just everything. How are we doing on model count? Norska's not even lost half their models yet. The vampire counts are down to almost 1/3 of theirs. But their big stuff is still really healthy, and Throg is about to tear out like any second. And if he does, that might be GG, because then you can just have Vargeist follow him, and Norska doesn't have the mobility presence to keep him alive. Like, in their build they did, but at this point in the game, no. The Dogs are too wounded, the Skinwolves are too wounded, so if Throg gets outside the blob, it's just going to be Vargeist chasing him down and killing him. Another big Burning Head through all these guys, though it does curve dangerously close to the Norskan front line. Decides not to murder all of them, but it thought about it. Throg continues to do battle forever. Don't know how he's not dead yet, but he's trying, as Skinwolves and Marauder Champions run out to isolate the Vargeists, who are almost heal capped at this point. More Skinwolves rear charging into the Vargeists. That will do good damage. And the Blood Dragon Lord is most of the balance of power, because the Vampire Count's blob is getting whittled way down. Platypus is absurdly good at domination. He dunks on Turin. Yeah, he also casts. He's a good guy. Vargeist always let you down. Yeah, Vargeist require a ton of babysitting. I didn't throw Throg away yet this match. Yeah, it's true. Though I don't know if Norska really wants to blob fight this hard with the vampire counts, because they have a bunch of AoE healing and you don't. There are builds for Norska that want to blob fight, but this isn't one of them. Because you have, like, a ton of money you spent on the movement speed for Skin Wolves and Norskan Ice Wolves, and now they're just being used as melee units, so the speed is not being super worth it. Just so you know. Where that usually goes. Firecaster for Norska is routed off. Still have Vargeist in here, or nearly heal capped. Cryptors are also nearly heal capped, but a mass rout for Norska. Everything is leaving this fight except for Throg and a couple champions. But that might be GG's. You still have a full health Dragon Lord with one breath attack that you could easily just park over Throg and throw it on him for a little bit of poke. Blood Dragon Lord dives in. Helm of Discord onto Throg, bringing it down to 26 melee defense. Not enough to keep him alive. Or is it? There we go. Big hit from that guy should spell the end. As how is that sorcerer allowed to come back? He does come back. He throws down a burning head, but Army lost his hits at the same time. And you can't outblob the undead unless you're Nurgle or Demons of Chaos. Bavarat, you're using the OP strat build? I see. That Marauder Champion and the Shaman of Fire got the exact same value. That's a little weird. Skinwolves did well. Dogs did not. Marauders did okay. Marauder Champions did fine. Throg did okay. For Salinator, Blood Dragon Lord honestly didn't get as much value as I would have expected. Vargas did very well. Graveguard did admirably. Cryptors mixed. Dogs not great. Zombies did zombie stuff. I love how little value Throg got. Yeah, for being in that fight for literally ever, he must not have hit a lot of crucial targets. Just got distracted by zombies and shit. Because he did not get a lot of value. Alright, let's get the blockers back up so you can't see what other replays there are. Because eventually we get into best of 3s and best of 5s and stuff, so don't want to spoil everything just yet. What else do we have? Nalnish versus Fat Kid at Recess. Can do. Hey, we get some guns. The Empire versus Stinky Dark Elves. No war wagons in sight, so I don't want to see any Empire hate in the chat. Y'all are Empire haters recently, and I don't know why. If it's just war wagons, even when there aren't war wagons, people are hating on Empire these days, which I don't understand. My precious Empire. Probably my 4th favorite faction across all time. Very nice. Love them. So what do we have? Franzi up on Deathclaw with Reikland Runefang and Galmaraz. We have a Shadowcaster with Melkos, Mystifying Miasma, and a Pit of Shades. 2 handgunners, 1 Hellblaster Volley Gun, actually 3 handgunners and Hellblaster Volley Gun. Then some Crossbowmen, a whole bunch of Swordsmen and Halberdiers, and 2 Empire Knights. Alright, spooky. On the other side for Nalnish, we have Malekith up on his Dragon with Soul Stealer, Gaze of Malice, and his Breath Attack. 2 Scourge Runner Chariots, a single Bolt Thrower, 2 Dark Shards, 2 Blackheart Corsair Handbows, 4 Dread Spears, and 2 Cold One Knights. There's not a lot of melee infantry here, so I actually think that the Empire should just rush at them. Yeah, you could overwhelm their forces. Because there's only 4 Dread Spears trying to keep all this stuff going. Are you excited for the Toddy's DLC where he's going to also bring... Wait, what? Where he's also going to bring war wagons with greatswords? I don't understand the question, but if Toddbringer actually gets playable in campaign, that would be hype because he is my favorite Empire Lord to play as. Yes, that is true. Alright, Malekith ended up landing, which is not working out for him. He's taking a lot of damage from handgunners, crossbows, and the Hellblaster Volley Gun. Franz is also trying to dive onto him, but Franz did run straight through a Soul Stealer to do so, so he'll take a bit of damage as Malekith heals up. And Franz is here now, probably wants to pop Reikland Runefang and Galmaraz. There it is, but he's currently T-posing, trying to follow around that big dragon. Because things that move even slightly are super hard to catch for literally no reason. Don't know why that's still not a mechanic they can figure out. Malekith surrounded by knights, just walking casually through them, taking a couple shots from Franz, though. And even with his Soul Stealer healing him up, he's taking a lot of damage. Halberdier is even trying to catch the Scourge Runner chariots as the Scourge Runners attempt to support Malekith in this fight. I think they did a little bit of friendly fire there. Not super sure as the Hellblaster volley guns re-kit and move on to fighting the Scourge Runners rather than trying to shoot Malekith in the middle of that blob, which they know they can't see. Scourge Runners even have to sacrifice their lives to try and get Malekith back into the air. Meanwhile, the frontline fight, handgunners and crossmen are just trading with the 2 Dark Shards. It looks like overall the Dark Elves are actually coming out ahead, I would say, as 2 crossbowmen are already routed off and nothing bad has happened to the Dark Elves. Malekith still trapped on the ground despite the sacrifice of the noble Scourge Runner chariots. Now they are, one's down to half HP, the other one's still trying to do anything. And Coldwood Knights are at last sent out into the open field to get rid of these Empire scum once and for all. Malekith probably has a Soul Stealer up because this chase has gone on for so long. But there, the Coldwood Knights wrap in. The Empire Knights should be pushed off soon. That'll leave just Franz alone with Malekith. What else is going on? The Dark Elves charge down the hill. Plenty of state troops to catch that charge, though. No issue there. And that Coldwood Knight is getting chewed up by handgunners and crossmen. Ouch. Very big ouch. Malekith gets into the sky. And now how the turntables. Ooh, he's actually charging back into Franz with a Soul Stealer popped. Could snipe out the Emperor of Mankind. That's a different guy. That's a 40k guy. Is it though? Isn't it? I don't think it is. Gets a little bit of damage onto Franz, which is pretty good, but then his Coldwood Knights rout, his Scourge Runner chariots also terror routed, and Halberdiers were here, so he wanted nothing of that. A huge Gaze of Malice takes half HP off the handgunners. Malekith's flying around. Now Franz, what I didn't realize until right now, he didn't bring a Life Caster, he brought a Grey Wizard, so Franz gets the health he gets. I wonder if we'll see a Pit of Shades right there. That would be nice. State troops doing exactly what we talked about. They just overran the Dark Elf line with pure bodies, and now they can run onto the Bolt Throwers, onto the Black Arc Corsair Handbows. And while the Black Arc Corsair Handbows will beat them in melee, it's not going to be a cost-effective trade, so might as well. Empire's up on the balanced power. I tend to agree, though Malekith, if he can stall this game out, has a lot of healing left he can still get, and could turn it around. Hellblaster Volley Gun really whittled down by the force of the Bolt Throwers. Looks like they have 1 model left. Technically still alive. Meanwhile, swordsmen tear down those bolt throwers. The crew is desperately trying to push them up the hill and away to safety. But those swordsmen caught a lot of the bolt thrower crew, still doing good damage to them. As some Bleak Swords and Black Arc Corsairs try and fix this mess, handgunners are firing up the hill into those guys. Franz caught back up to Malekith off screen, did big damage to him, unless he has another Soul Stealer on deck right now. He is about to die. So imagine these handgunners, yeah. So he runs away from Franz, but he's running straight into handgunners who are now firing out of the corner of their eye at him. Doing pretty good damage, poking him down a little bit, and then he starts routing. And Franz is now faster. So Franz catches up. Franz swings and hits, and that might be the end of Malekith. Without him, I don't know how the Dark Elves are going to win this. Melkoth whittles down some more Black Arc Corsairs. For the Dark Elves, we have a healthy Black Arc Corsair, a healthy Dread Spear, another healthy Dread Spear. And that is like it. Everything else in this map is so whittled down that it just doesn't matter. Hellblaster Volley Gun crew is back online. Look at how many crew members they have for this one gun. As it turns to fire at the Coldwood Knights coming straight at it. Or not. Or not. Where are we going? Where are we going, Chief? You gotta shoot at something. What are we doing? Coldwood Knights decide that if the Hellblaster is going to handshake and not fire, then they don't have to charge down. Instead, they go after the handgunners, who are not facing the oncoming Coldwood Knights. There we go. The Hellblaster is now firing into them. But it's too late to save the little handgunners. That whole handgunner unit's going to get deleted. Not that it matters. You have enough state troops, a caster, and Franz that they alone can carry this. You don't even need any of your ranged components anymore. Hellblaster Volley Gun crew is doing little tickles of damage to the Coldwood Knights. Not even noticeable. But I think that's about it. I will play it at ×2 speed from this point, because I just don't think that there is a chance in hell the Dark Elves win this. There we go. What up, Edwin? Big hit from Carl? Yeah, he's killing it. Ah, my delicious tea. All right, Franz got great value considering he didn't get a million regrowths and all that stuff, so he did great. Hellblaster Volley Gun did okay. Shadow Wizard did okay. Empire Knights did okay. State Troops, nothing crazy on the value front. Handgunners overall did quite well, and Crossmen did alright. For Borgash, also known as Nalnish, Malekith did not get a lot of value. His Colden Knights also didn't, if you take their average. Scourge Chariots did fine. Blackheart Corsairs struggled a bit. Bolt Thrower did great. Dark Shards did just fine, and the Dread Spears did okay. GG. Human Boy, you need what? You need to be casting this like a boxing commentator? I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. I'm physically incapable. Alright, so what else do we have? Cyrus versus Boojilicious. Alright, this is the last of the best of ones. Then we have 2 best of 3s and a best of 5. This one. Boojilicious versus Cyrus. Cyrus is a frequent member of our chat. Does not play very often, though he's starting to get into it. Vampire Coast versus Norska. All right, Boojilicious wants a boxing thing, so let's do a boxing thing. Let's do it. Let's go. Ugh. 1 second. Let's just do whatever Booj wants to do. Alright. Is the camera in the right spot? Yes? No? Maybe so? Okay. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, in one corner of the ring, Boojilicious! Piloting the Vampire Coast. Now you might think that these guys are good on the seas, but let me tell you that their sea legs are a little flaccid, if you know what I mean. Subscribe every Sunday, Monster Truck Rally, cars. Here's an advertisement for Target and Pepsi. Anyway, back to the match. Like 2 seconds of something happened. Oh, and Norska is gonna drop some bombs on the front line. Holy shit. But before you get too comfortable, we do have to cut away to another advertisement from our sponsors. So we'll be right back with more Sunday Night Warhammer Fight Club. All right. Take it away, sponsors. This Warhammer Fight Club is sponsored by Pepsi. Pepsi. Run out of Coca-Cola? Pepsi is technically there. Also for you, tires. Not a particular brand, just tires on your car. All right, back to the action. Oh, you didn't miss very much. Norska was just throwing the Vampire Coast throwing some bombs at the Norska. And holy shit, they might be going for a second volley. Wow. Look at the damage coming from them on that volley. That is a crazy volley. But what's this? A twist? Some fucking hatchets come out of nowhere? Well, we have to take a break there for our other commercial sponsors. Do you suffer from being really stupid? We can fix that at Skittles. Or Smarties. Fuck, the other one. Smarties. The only candy that makes you smarter. All right, let's get back into the action. All right, about another 10 seconds of action before another fucking commercial break. Because you see, what's happening here is I'm casting it like a sports thing, and sports have commercials every 3 seconds. So maybe, Booj, you should just accept what you get. Because not anything's perfect. Normal boxing casting sucks. Because boxing's fake, soccer is fake, sports are fake. Because they always have time for commercials. You ever think about that? They have time for commercials. It's all a conspiracy. It's all a scam. Nobody's real. Nobody's real. Lionel Messi, he's just some middle-aged dad, doesn't even know how to play soccer. It's all CG and effects. Is he on drugs? No, I just got a request from someone in chat, so then I thought I'd make fun of something that they like for no reason. Alright, getting more serious. Vampire Coast, a bunch of pistol mobs, spooky crabs, a couple bomber bats to keep the Norska a little more honest, and a lot of animated hulks too. This is a ton of large targets versus Norska, who can bring skin wolves and javelins, so I'm not super sure about that. Frontliner Marauders and Marauder Champions on the other side. There are some of those Javelin throwers that I really like to see. I know Blood Penguin takes them a lot, and he does make good work out of them. Then Norskan Ice Wolves and Skin Wolves as well. Throg the Troll King in the center. This time he has Fight or Die, but otherwise he is still naked. And we have Burning Head Caster as well. Generally pretty good against the undead. I play Warhammer, come on. Yeah, Booj. Anyway, these Javelin throwers are exactly what I was worried about here. Now, if you had a Plague of Rust caster, even the Lamper's Revenge wouldn't be a problem, but even without Plague of Rust, I mean, these guys could do so much damage to animated hulks if they're given the time. But will they get the time? Because these Bomber Bats might have something to say about that. Though the Bombers already run out of ammunition, and wow, this one's even taking a lot of damage. It must have been from those jab throws. Some of the undead are leaving their defensive formation to get out here and harass these Javelin throwers a little bit, keep them away from the bats. And we even have one of the Marauder Hunters with the axes, which can hit the Lamper's Revenge actually pretty well. But again, these Bomber Bats are just not letting them actually fire. Anyway. Icehorn Marauders fighting back against some animated hulks and random zombies as Noctilus's Wraithstorm pelts them down. Norska is trying to get in on some of the flanks, but they're getting pushed off by crabs and summons. Once again, dogs versus undead is risky and tricky, because while they can run down things like the Black Spot and whatever here, it's just like, they're dogs, their leadership is so bad that if any undead unit responds to them, they're going to take a lot of damage. Throg overextended a little bit. There's a Burning Head trying to come bail him out, kill off some zombies, and give him space to run away. It looks like this Rotting Promethean also wanted to get away from him, but Throg is too deep in right now. He needs to back off for just a little bit. Beasts of Tashnar killing off some more pistols. Pistols all around are fading, but the Lamper's Revenge at half HP rides out with some friends. And they've taken down all three of the Norskan ranged units, which is pretty huge for the Vampire Coast in this game. More Norskan Ice Hounds are... actually, these are just Warhounds. These aren't even the ice ones. Norskan Warhounds getting involved as best they can. But you can see they're not really built for the bump and grind. Norska slightly down in the balance of power. I tend to agree. Their front line is looking rather taxed at this point. Their ranged units all shut down. It's looking a little tough for ye old Norska. Throg is still battling it out, still popping Fight or Die and stuff. With two Rotting Promethean mobs nearby and Noctilus beating him up, Throg is going to lose this fight. And I wonder if Noctilus has any Winds of Magic right now to heal up the Rotting Prometheans over there, or if he is just going to let them die. The Black Spot defended themselves from the Ice Wolves and are now trying to fire in over onto the Skin Wolves. So they have a little bit of friendly fire onto the Rotting Prometheans, which is bad. And the Deck Dropper Bombers using the last of their ammunition on these Marauder Champions. Those guys with their heavy armor won't take very much damage at all, but yeah, it's still fine. It's something. If you're not quiet, or I will spit in your birthday cake again. Alright, I turned on my microphone again. Okay, wait. So everybody's talking about my volume now. Am I actually, like, loud? Storm pelts them down. Norska is trying to get in on some of the flanks, but they're getting pushed off by crabs and summons. Once again, dogs versus undead is... I don't know. It sounds fine to me, but okay. Any tips? Cyrus is asking as the Norska player. Throg overextended a bit. I also, I just don't love mass dog builds versus undead, because the dogs don't have the staying power to sit and really finish off too much stuff. You can get some dogs, but just not this many. There was a lot of Ice Wolves and Warhounds, which traditionally to shut down range makes sense, but not range that's unbreakable and also causes fear, and your dogs can get routed so easily. So, a little less dogs. Throg not going so deep all on his own. And focus a little bit more on protecting your ranged, because the ranged just got left in the back line, and then the undead sallied forth and took care of it. Because your range was going to get crazy value if you had defended them the whole time. But overall, it was pretty fine. You shut down a lot of the range stuff well. Your Skin Wolves have been put to good use. Your frontline push was fine. Units aren't really getting forgotten, so it's not like a ton of mistakes. I definitely have to look for them to find big things to talk about, so it's not like, wow, you fucked this up. It's like, I mean, the game's still pretty close, nearing its end game, so you clearly didn't do that much wrong or anything. IDK, people said you're quiet. No, people were telling me I'm too loud. A bunch of you were saying shit like if you're not quiet or blank, blank, blank. Less dogs, maybe more champions. Champions could be good. Yeah, probably not berserkers. I honestly might even consider one or two skirmish cav instead of the dogs. because then they can act as dog units in melee, but then also have a little bit of range for like these bomber bats, because the bomber bats were a huge problem for you. They got to use all of their ammo, and you didn't have enough range to stop them from doing that. We are getting into the late game. Some skinwolves are fighting back against animated hulks and spooky crabs. Looks like they're going to get out of there. Throg ran really far away. Looks like he was trying to dodge something, but then just went on a bit of a meander. Norska does have some rallying troops on the far side that can come back, though their health is so low, I don't know how much they'll really be able to do. As the last healthy-ish skinwolf fights Lamper's Revenge, we have Noctilus, 2 crabs, 1 animated hulk, and a bat unit with no ammunition. So how much can Throg regenerate up? And can he even deal with Noctilus? Noctilus is a halberd unit. I don't know. Seems suspect. Magic is not going to have much use at this point. Flaming Sword of Ruin. The flaming attacks are nice, I guess, but Burning Head's going to be useless at this point. Unless Noctilus burns it on us. If Noctilus has like a summon he throws out, I guess if you really want to, you could just Burning Head it immediately and kill it, but it's fine. Yeah. Alright. Throg's coming back. Marauders. Yeah, basic Marauders are fighting. Marauders of Great Opens are also still fighting. Oof. I don't know what Norse is going to do here. Maybe if the Skinwolves all charge in with Throg and he pops Fight or Die, maybe that helps them. But man, look how much health the Lampreys have now because they've just been regenerating this whole time. And Throg's trying to run away, but these guys have shotguns, so the longer he delays, the more they're going to catch up to him. And yeah, stalling here isn't helping, unfortunately, for Norska. Because now they're sacrificing a Skinwolf to save Throg, but to what end? So, because that Skinwolf's going to rout pretty quickly, and Throg's going to have to either re-engage or just die anyway. They pick off some animated hulks, which is fine. But the coast is fine with these trades. I mean, they got a Skinwolf to burn one of its routes, and they're shooting in at Throg. Noctilus charges in, probably going to rout off some of these Skinwolves. And that might be about GG. On the side, some Marauders and Norskan Ice Wolves kill off the deck dropper bombers that were trying to rout them. And here it is. Is Fight or Die popped? There it is. That'll keep the Skinwolves in the fight. But man, they don't have the stopping power. You can't get through all these crabs. Especially since there are summons. I don't know if Noctilus has any Winds of Magic, but he does have summons. And if he throws one down, it's going to be GG. Because the wolves will get too scared. Norskan Ice Wolves, more Marauders trying to filter back into the fight, but one of the Skinwolves shatters. The other one is also going to rout in a moment's time, because Fight or Die were off, so they lost their leadership. He also shatters, and without them, Throg will rout, and that'll be army losses for sure. 0 leadership, there he goes. That's GG. No Feral Mammoths. Feral Mammoths are trash all the time. The crabs did fantastically well. Bomber bats also did quite nicely. Animated hulks, zombies. Oh, the polearms actually did pretty well. Pistols got murked though. New side for Cyrus, 700 on Throg. He really didn't get too much done, unfortunately. Burning Headcaster cleared out some chaff and stuff. Skinwolves did fine. Dogs did fine. The Javelins and the Axe Throwers did okay. Basic Marauders did fine as well. But they had to get through so much healing. So much! That was the last best of one. So you're now on to... It is not Will Francesca versus Persian Warrior. Those two were not able to coordinate and get their games out. So now it is CoolUmbrella versus Rider of Rohan in a best of 3. I'm going back to sitting now that my bit about being a boxing caster or whatever is done. Because screw that. Greenskins versus Kislev. Matchup that I think favors Greenskins. Greenskins can do well here because squigs are so cheap and have nice armor piercing, so that the Kislev unbreakable, heavily armored front line isn't nearly as unbreakable. Yeah. For the Greenskins, we have Wurzag, my favorite bestest boy with Here We Go, Fists of Gork, and Brain Bursta. A lot of spells. We have 4 Forest Goblin Spider Riders, or 3? 3. 3 Orc Boar Boy Biggins, including the Broken Tusk Mob ROR. 1 Stone Troll. 2, 3 Savage Orc R Boys. Then some Night Goblins, Goblins, and Squigs. And the 1 Night Goblin is not a spinning loon, it is just a Night Goblin. You also have the Hammer of Gork. I know Umbrella really likes this thing. Has decent damage when it feels like hitting, and it does have the blind debuff. On the other side, for Kislev, 4 Horse Archers, don't see a lot of them. A Griffin Legion, the Ice Witch of Tempest with just Blizzard and Hailstorm. Then we have a Patriarch for a little bit of healing. And then the front line. Any more cav? Nope, just the front line. Okay, armored Kossars with spears, all that good stuff. The Watchmen in the Night, ROR armored Kossars with their dual swords and no shields. 2 Ice Guard with glaives. And that's about it. Okay. Griffin Legion plows straight into the Night Goblins, getting decent damage on impact. Should get better damage as their charge kicks in. There it is. And already the Night Goblins are routed off, and oof. Savage Orc Boy's taking a lot of damage here. From the Hailstorm, that must be an Overcast, because it's still going. From the Hailstorm and the 4 Skirmish Cav, already those guys are about to route off too. So Kislev having a good start. And the unholy fire that is hitting this front line between the armored Kossars, and the Ice Guard. Damn, the Greenskins are having a tough go of it so far. But okay, we'll see how it goes. Wurzag's popping out some buffs now. Try and offer a little bit of support. The cavalry has gotten engaged. Broken Tusk Mob should trade very well into the Griffin Legion if they can get past their own Spider Riders. But it looks like we have a bit of an impasse because those Griffin Legion are not taking as much damage as they should be taking from the Broken Tusk Mob. I think an Here We Go is getting popped right now. Yeah, Here We Go and the Bonewood Staff for Wurzag, so 82 melee attack, and then if we get a Wah, which should be coming very soon, these guys will get even more, so now they should start chewing through the Griffin Legion, and it looks like they are. Also, the Spider Riders routed, so they're out of the way, so no more excuses. The Boar Boys are going to clean through the Griffin Legion, hopefully. But another nice Hailstorm. Oh, I like that a lot. Good little Hailstorm, using a Snow Leopard summon to block up these Orc Boar Boy Biggins, and then hit them with a Hailstorm. That's all very nice. Kislev's front line is holding for now, taking a lot of damage, but holding. The Archer's still firing in. The Ice Guard Glaives have taken a lot of damage, and they're now even starting to offer support to the side engagements, where the Horse Archers are just taking a fight and relying on their Dire Blood Unbreakable to keep things in line, as the Kislev front line still does well. Balance power is about even, but I'm just worried that Kislev is running out of gas. Like, the front line's taking so much damage, and so is the Greenskins, to be fair, but there's always more Greenskins. There's not always more Kislev. Horse Archers are now starting to run away after taking significant damage. Patriarch's also trying to opt out. But Kislev was unable to chase down anything that they routed, so now it's all coming back and just slowly grinding them to pieces. And you see the front line starting to break a little bit. Something's happening over here. It looks like it's a blizzard, which will be a nice blizzard. There it is. We'll catch these two. Probably route them off while the Horse Archers hold forever and ever. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. Patriarch's getting completely sniped out. Effigy to the Git locks him in place for these Broken Tusk Mobs to hit him. And hit him they shall. So the healer's about to be dead. The Horse Archers are in mass exodus. The front line is still contested, like both sides doing well in certain parts of the front line. So Kislev overall did well, but the flanks went to the Greenskins, and the ranged fight also kind of went to the Greenskins. I mean, the Hammer of Gork's just been firing this whole time, though now it's obstructed, trying to fire up over a hill and past Stone Trolls. It can't see shit there. The Watchmen in the Night have 7 models left. Fighting to the very last man, because Dire Blood is active for 3 more seconds. 2, 1, 0. It wears off, and they immediately rout. They don't shatter, but they do rout. Balance power shifts even further against Kislev, and I do tend to agree. There's just not a lot left they can do here. There's so many Greenskins, and not a lot of Kislevites. That'll be a GG on game 1. Army losses has hit. It's just Dire Blood's getting popped so that the armies literally can't rout just yet. But they will any second now. So I'll hit fast forward. And badoop. 1,000 value on Wurzag. Stone Trolls, 950, but they were very healthy, so they had a ton of love left to give. The Orc Boar Boy Big and ROR did great. The other Orc Boar Boy Biggins did okay. Hammer Orc did great. Savage Orc ROR Boys struggled to pay for themselves, as they just got pew-pewed by all of Kislev. And the rest of the roster did mixed. Ooh, that one goblin did really, really well. On the other side, Rider of Rohan, 1,200 on his Tempest Caster. Ice Guard with Glaives, one of them got good value, the other one did not. His Kossars did okay. Griffin Legion just got slammed. Armored Kossars held as best they could, but did not get a lot of value out, and the Horse Archers did not get a lot of value out. Rest in peace. So what is this, Fight Club? If CoolUmbrella is still in the chat, he can explain it better than I can, but it's like, he just got together some stuff where, like, you know how boxing and things have upper card and undercard fights? So there's just a bunch of different people fighting for hype and just for fun. It's kind of like that. So we'll have a best of 5 between Sabres Ragam and Phoenix King. We had best of 3s between John FB and its current year. And then the card is a little wrong. It's Umbrella versus Rider of Rohan. And then the bottom 4 were all best of 1s. He just matched people ahead of time who have similar skills and some matchups that weren't atrocious. Just trying to make some good games. Game 2, if you want this one to go to Game 3, you are rooting for the Dark Elves and Rider of Reaver's Mark, also known as Rider of Rohan. If you just want the Night Crew sweep, you want CoolUmbrella and Khorne to slap these Dark Elf fools. Alrighty, for Khorne. A bigger build than I'm used to seeing with Khorne. It's a lot of dogs. Looks like 4 Fleshhounds of Khorne. No, it's 3 and 3. 3 Fleshhounds of Khorne, 3 Chaos Warhounds of Khorne, 3 Skirmish Cav, the Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, 2 Chaos Furies of Khorne, 1 Minotaur with great weapons, Valkia the Bloody, and a front line of Marauders, some with dual axes, some without. We got to pick our factions ourselves. Got it. On the other side, for Rider of Reaver's Mark, it's a lot of kite. We have double Black Dragon, one of which is a Sorceress of Dark with Soul Stealer. 3 Repeater Crossbow Dark Riders on the ground, 1 in the sky with the Raven's Herald. And then we have more Dark Riders, Coldland Knights, and 5 Dread Spears. I see. CoolUmbrella did It's for Entertainment. I'm going to pull for the Fight of the Night and Best Build for a small prize after the stream. So there is a prize, but it's more for, like, participation and not for, like, the person who wins the best of 5 gets blank. Gotcha. The Black Dragons have landed in the front line, terror routing off some Marauders while their Skirmish Cav fires in. Valkia dares to opt into a fight, though this Black Dragon is about to get messed up as multiple Marauder Horsemen of Khorne are lining up to use their throwing axes. And the Raven's Herald dive into the fight while getting beset by Furies, and they're just going to get taken down. The Raven's Herald is like a Deck Gunner or a Giselle in the sky. That's how squishy they are. So that fight did not go well for them. That is a huge loss for the Dark Elves. Also for the Dark Elves, Dark Riders and Coldland Knights are beset by these dogs. They're trying to hold them back, but the Furies just fly over their heads and are going to harass the Skirmish Cavalry. Without the Skirmish Cav, these dogs should actually probably win the frontline fight. Yeah, probably. And the Furies are going to get really good value onto these guys. But more dogs stream into the backline. Coldland Knights are caught flat-footed as 3 dogs are about to gang up on them. The Furies are losing to all of these Skirmish Cav, but they're doing good damage. Man, Fury leadership is something else, though. They're already about to demonic instability crumble at over half HP while fighting Skirmish Cav. The Black Dragon, the regular one, the one that can't heal in any form whatsoever, is under half HP. Valkia's taking a lot of damage. I don't think she has Demon Shield. No, she doesn't. So she's going to have to be careful about that fight. Meanwhile, Minotaurs have joined the front line, and they're going to turn this in the favor of the dogs very quickly. Murderous Prowess is popped for the Dark Elves. How are their infantry doing? Not great. Okay, not great. Dark Elves are falling behind in the balance of power. More dogs, more Skirmish Cav, more Furies piling into this back line, getting onto Dark Rider Repeater Crossbows, 2 of which are in serious trouble HP-wise. Valkia finally gets away from the Black Dragons. The only thing that was going well for the Dark Elves was the Dragons 2v1ing Valkia like that. Everything else is going to shit a bit. Quick Breath Attack does a little bit of poke onto the Khorne forces, but yeah, those Furies are after the routing Dark Riders. This is a bit of a whoopsie from Khorne. They got to get these Fleshhounds and Chaos Warhounds away from all the Spearmen units. They've got to run up and around, probably get back onto the skirmish cav or something, they do not just want to fight spears. Because some of these are flesh hounds, which are actually large, which lets the spears get better damage onto you. But in general, dogs don't really like to 1v1 infantry units in general. So the flesh hounds are fading away. The black dragons are both onto Valkia once more and fighting the monsters of Khorne. If she has a soul stealer, which she's popping right now, that will be very effective. I don't think it'll turn this game around, but it helps. As some of the flesh hounds in the back are disappearing, other chaos warhounds are thinking about leaving. The Dark Rider repeater crossbows are trying to fight their way out against these Furies and Marauder Horsemen of Khorne, but that's just not going to go in their favor. Then the feral black dragon is getting pushed off, while the sorceress on hers is going to try and walk it out. There's still a very healthy skirmish cav from Khorne over here. Two others that are okay on health but have a ton of ammunition. All of the Dark Elf skirmish is pushed off except for the Raven's Heralds, but there are Furies running them down as we speak. The Furies are faster, so they will catch up and eat those guys for breakfast. Nom nom nom. Dead Raven's Herald. Good for you. Supreme Sorceress of Dark and some Dread Spears are all that is left for the Dark Elves, and I really don't think it is going to be enough, especially with the skirmish cav nearby that can just sit and shoot at the Dragon Lady if she wants to blob up on her spears and try and win that way. Autumn Chan paid an exposure. These aren't unpaid interns. These are elite Warhammer players. So Valkia is taking a dual Supreme Sorceress of Dark up in the sky, a little bit riskier than you need to play it. As Khorne, you could just play this like super carefully, keep Valkia away from anything dangerous and skirmish your way to victory, but looks like Umbrella didn't need it. Slapped in that victory, and it is a 2-0 for him. Alright, let's check on some messages. What up, the Phoenix King? There's one more best of 3, then we will need you, good sir. So for Khorne, Minotaurs, Valkia, and Fleshhounds did okay. The Skirmish Cav did very nicely. Furies also did really well. Chaos Warhounds of Khorne. The Chaos Warhounds of Dog, yes. Chaos Warhounds of Khorne struggled a little bit to get their guy back, and Marauders also did meh. The Double Black Dragon was bold, but not good, unfortunately. Skirmish Cav also got pushed off. Koldo Knights struggled a lot. Dark Rider struggled a lot. Dread Spears did okay, but not great. Tough game for the Dark Elves. And we move forth. Back. We have our last best of 3 before the live best of 5. This is the last thing done in replays. Then we have a live best of 5 between Sabrus and the Phoenix King. So what do we have? It's Current Year versus John FB, and a very wild first build. 4 Shadow Walkers, Alethanar's most elite Shadow Warriors. And versus a T-Rex, Lord Croak, and fucking Krokgar. This is not ideal. Okay. All right, I understand now. John FB wanted to go with the Mass Vanguard. Not ideal. Very silly. I respect the balls. I don't respect the build. The build sucks ass. 5 Chameleon Stalkers. Every single Chameleon Stalker you see here could, if it had 17 of its best friends, maybe defeat one single Skaven slave if he didn't know they were coming. Paired up with them is Getblom's Terror, the Carnosaur, the Feral Carnosaur ROR. With his anti-large and armor piercing, he can almost defeat a Bone Giant of the Tomb Kings. What's that? A ranged hybrid unit that costs less than he does? Yes, the Bone Giant will beat him in melee and continue firing on the rest of your army. So all of these units are garbage. Utter garbage. What is backing them up? Feral Cold Ones? Those guys are fine. Then we have a Revivification Crystal. That's also fine. Lord Croak is actually surprisingly okay every time I use him. And Krokgar, who is utter fucking garbage. So the High Elves have already won this game. But let's see what they took, just in case they want to lose somehow. 4 Shadow Walkers, which are fine. They're not great. They are fine. 5 Spearmen. 1 Pyramid Company, the White Lions ROR. We have 3 Silver Helms for a little bit of cav pressure, and then a Final Transmutation, Plague of Rust, and Searing Doomcaster. So the High Elves have already won. GG, well played. On to game 2, my friends. All right, let's see it. Shadow Walkers immediately fire onto Getblom's Terror. Chameleon Stalkers are here. They're running forward. They're getting good damage into the Shadow Walkers, but Silver Helms are going to countercharge them. Bap! Getblom's Terror is here, ready to party. Hand of the Gods is half health off the Archmage of Metal. That has been a very long time since I've seen that spell actually hit correctly and do well, but there it is, so I'll give it its credit. You did something for once, you piece of shit. The last couple times I've used it, it either missed or didn't do that much damage, but I guess an Eagle caster only has 30 armor, so that's fine. Silver Helms running down the Chameleon Stalkers, who are already almost dead across the board. And the archers are just trying to get somewhere safe as Getblom's Terror continues to roll through them, but with an overcasted Plague of Rust, he's down to 35 armor. So we'll see what the Shadow Walkers can do about that. He's down to about half HP. I imagine he'll be getting a Rev Crystal support in a second, as it is sprinting towards him as fast as possible. Lord Croak also threw down the shield to the old ones for 40% damage resistance in that whole area. Now, Silver Helms are clearing out the Chameleon Stalkers, but they do have to come to the back line to help out with more Chameleon Stalkers and Feral Cold Ones, as Getblom's Terror is surrounded by the Pure Main Company, but a big spell from Lord Croak is going to push those guys off. And that was very damaging to the High Elves' chances in this game, because that's an 1,000 gold unit that got almost entirely deleted. And the Shadow Walkers are under constant distress by the T-Rexes chasing them down and the Chameleon Stalkers. While the Silver Helms are grouping up on the Feral Cold Ones, they kind of need to spread out a little bit more, because we don't need more Silver Helms in one location, we need a lot more Silver Helms spread out across the thing. Shadow Walkers, the Pyramid Company, almost get rid of Getblom's Terror. It just about routed, but manages to stay in it. And this Archmage of Metal has to get a little more active, I think. She has to do some cycle charging, because Eagle casters are actually a big pain in the ass to deal with. TBH. Shadow Walkers continue to try and get away, as the Silver Helms rear charge Chameleon Stalkers, gonna get rid of them. Shadow Walkers poking down Getblom's Terror. The front line for the High Elves is holding quite well against the Lizardmen. So if they can just figure out their back line, they will largely be okay. Getblom's Terror still taking a little bit of poke. Pure Main Company trying to chase it down as the Shadow Walkers are terror routing away. We have lost fully one Shadow Walker. That guy's going to shatter. He manages not to shatter, but he's still below any threshold of being useful in the rest of this game. So it's really down to 3 Shadow Walkers for now. Mass route from the Lizardmen. The High Elves might be able to chase them off if you dedicate 1 Silver Helm with Extreme Micro, or the caster and some Silver Helms will be fine. But I still think the caster should maybe be back here doing a little more stuff on this front. Silver Helms finish off those Chameleon Stalkers. One probably has to go after Getblom's Terror. The other one can go back to chasing things off the map, because they don't really want to sit and fight Krokgar. Krokgar and the Bastildon won't take a lot of damage. That's more like my experience with Krokgar. The Hand of the Gods entirely misses its second charge, leaving the Archmage of Metal just fine. Lord Croak is surrounded by spears, taking a lot of damage. Silver Helms running down some more of the routing forces. A nasty Plague of Rust overcast brings the Bastildon down to only 50 armor, allowing the Pure Main Company and the Shadow Walkers to do a lot more damage to it. Krokgar continues to disrupt those little guys. And we'll see how that goes. Croak is taking a massive amount of damage, though it looks like he used the spell off screen to just delete the Spearman unit. While they have 92 out of 120 models, they're down to 600 HP, so yeah, they took a lot of damage. And they fucked off. Silver Helm's trying to still keep peeling off any remnants of the Lizardmen reinforcements. And the Bastildon actually routes, still with a good amount of HP. A lot of resources from the High Elves need to go into chasing this guy off. You can't allow the only healing the Lizardmen have to come back. You just can't. Bit of a whoopsie here as the High Elves are filtering into a spell from Lord Croak. Did not get orders to dodge, so that is going to do pretty good damage to them. Youch. And this lady, I don't know what she's doing, but she has to come back here. She has to chase off the single entities when they route. She can't be fucking around chasing who gives a shit about these. Like, that thing's going to come back now. We've established that. But it's like, is it worth it to let that thing come back and cast a heal into Getblom's Terror or Krokgar? Or was it more worth it for this lady to shatter a random-ass Chameleon Stalker? Big Final Transmutation Overcast does hit Croak and Krokgar, and that is good. But this Revivification Crystal is going to come back and make this harder on you in general. He's probably going to heal up Krokgar, though Getblom's Terror could have also used it. Getblom's Terror is routed. Lizardmen are down to the balance of power. Lord Croak at 136 HP. And this Rev Crystal has 5 uses left. If the Lizardmen cannot army loss, if they can slow this game down, they could try and heal through it. But Silverhelms are going to finish off Lord Croak. Without him, that's a massive blow to their balance of power because he is a caster. Archmage of Metal is now chasing Geplom's Terror, which is perfect. Excellent. Great stuff, not letting that guy come back. Shadow Walkers on the high ground still firing, though they are so few in number, their DPS doesn't really matter. The main point is, I bet the Pyramid Company have insane value. Not really, 500, but still, okay. Overcasted Plague of Rust, but he is getting healed at the same time. He's down to 5 armor. 5. From the Plague of Rust, Overcast, and the Pyramid Company's armor sundering that they have, he is at 5 armor. That's like a Slanesh demon. And yeah, Lizardmen do lose. What up, Great Book of Grudges? I called it. It just took a little longer than I thought, but I called it. I have, dude, Chameleon Stalkers, and this isn't just like, oh, Human Boy just hates Chameleon Stalkers, blah, blah, blah. Like, I have tried using Chameleon Stalkers several times over the last patch and a half, and they never do anything. I had Chameleon Stalkers versus Bretonnia. I flanked a Trebuchet. The Chameleon Stalkers ran to the back of the Trebuchet, attacking it, of course. And they used one volley of their grenades on this Trebuchet, and they fought in melee. And then Knights of the Realm came over, destroyed and shattered my Chameleon Stalkers, and the Trebuchet didn't even stop firing. And I'm like, utter garbage! Trash unit! Okay, I hate Chameleon Stalkers, dude. They're so fucking bad. Anyway, Silverhelms did very well. I do not see Silverhelms paying for themselves a lot. So that is a treat, to be sure, to see all of them pay for themselves. Shadow Walkers also did fine. Pyramid Company and Spearmen did mixed. That one surrounded Lord Croak. On the other side, for John FB, Crockguard did okay. Geplom's Terror, even for fighting that long, got 500 value. Rivification Crystal was just support. Croak got really good value. Chameleon Stalkers honestly got close to paying for themselves, but I still think they're trash. And then the Feral Cold ones struggled. So GG. G to the G. On to game 2 between Its Current Year and John. And let's see if we go to game 3 or if this is it. Okay. This is it. This is the last game. All right. It's over. GG. G fucking G. It's done. Okay, alright. I don't want to cast this anymore. We have 4 gold chevron Forest Goblin Spider Riders, archers, 4 gold chevron Forest Goblin Spider Rider melee, 2 Goblin Big Bosses on spiders, a Goblin Great Shaman on a spider, the Ragnarok Queen ROR Giant Spider. It's spiders. It's a spider build. On the other side for Its Current Year, we have some Harpies. 2 of them. We have the Siren of Red Ruin, the Bloodrack Medusa with the Whale. We have Spirit Leech and Doom and Darkness Caster? Yes, Doom and Darkness Caster. Some Cold Knights, a whole bunch of spears, 2 Blackguard of Nagarond, and 2 Charybdises. So I have no idea how the Greenskins are going to get through the Blackguard and the Charybdises. That's going to be a bad time. Sneaky Stabbin' is popped onto the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, while a Gorkle Fix-It is popped onto the Cold Knights, lowering their speed in case they try to retreat. I think Itchy Nuisance would have been better. The one that lowers their melee attack, so make your Spider Riders tankier and whatever. As Spider Riders do fire in to help out the Spider Riders, the 2 giant spiders go to help their Spider Riders and their Goblin Spider Riders to fight the Charybdi. We'll see if that can do any good. But the Dread Spears for the Dark Elves do have to move up. They do have to offer some support. So do the Black Guard, as these Harpies hover over Spider Riders getting shot by their little spider bows and spider arrows. So that's neat. That's fun. Making sure you guys weren't just looking at a blocker. Charybdis continues to fight the Spider Lads while a Goblin Big Boss Terror Outs at full HP. which is fun. If you don't know what the Charybdis is, I wouldn't blame you. You never see them. They're anti-large, armor-piercing duelists, but they also have a -8 leadership aura that is not resisted by immune to psychology. Now, the Spider boys are fighting the Coldwood Knights, and it's not going great for them, because who would have known? Now they also get a rear charge in. I don't know if that's even going to do any more work for them. We will see as the Bloodrock Medusa thinks about getting involved. Now, the Arachnarch Queen is taking a lot of damage. There's even a Spirit Leech onto hers. The Charybdis is not the Hydra. It has no natural healing. So the health it has is the health it gets as more spiders try and join into the fight. Have I mentioned spiders? Because there's spiders! Anyway, this whole thing went to shit for the Greenskins really fast, because Spider Riders might not be very good, even with gold chevrons. The Charybdis continues to do battle. The other one is full HP. Spears are now surrounding all of the Spider Riders, and Blackguard are here, so everybody in this area is about to get mega fucked. Just mega fucked. Because as soon as these Blackguards start hitting stuff, it's GG. Now, fortunately for the Spider crew, the Blackguard are trying to catch these Skirmish Cav rather than just killing the big single entities in the middle of them. But the double Charybdis are going to beat these guys up. Even with a Wah pop, it's really not going to be enough to save them. Some Skirmish Cav are trying to stop the Bloodrock Medusa from doing whatever she wants, while Coldwood Knights continue to fight more and more spiders in the distance. The Spears are putting an absolute shellacking onto this area, as, to be fair, the Charybdis are as well. Now, Doom and Darkness is even thrown down to give everybody in this area a whole bunch of leadership debuffs. Or was that? Oh, that was a Gorkle Fix-It. Yeah, Doom and Darkness could have been thrown down for -16 leadership in an AoE with the -8 from the Charybdis is -24. That would have been brutal. Bloodrock Medusa just friendly fired their own Dread Spears to try and make this game close, which it doesn't. Another Spirit Leech on the Goblin Big Boss. He shatters as the Charybdis tracks him down. Golden Knights are still kicking a ton of ass on these spiders. And that is that. That is that. An Unholy Spear Blob is moving forward with their two Charybdis. The Bloodrock Medusa can also just fire. If the Greenskins are going to run away and kite, it can fire back at them. But the two big spiders get involved. They kill off one of the Charybdis, but then Army losses hits as everything else took too much damage. And that is GG. That was a hard counter. Having two anti-large leadership duelists and then some anti-large cav and some halberd infantry versus just all light cav. Yeah, Bloodrock did okay. Charybdis both got about 2,000 value, which is nice. Coldwood Knights got 900, which is fine. Blackguard, Dread Spears, yeah, they were around. They did stuff. No side for John FB. Goblin Great Shaman got almost 2,000 value. Big bosses together got about 200 total, which is not great. Arachnarch Queen also struggled. Spider Rider Archers did not come close to paying for themselves. Fighters also did not come close to paying for themselves. GG. What is the Dark Elf Lord? Supreme Sorceress of Death on foot. So that is that. We are up to the title card match, which now I will transfer over to my scorecard. We are 19 minutes early, so allow me to message the players quick here. We did tell the players 4, maybe even 4:30. And in my time it is 3:40, so I'm a little early. I'll message them, see if they're ready. If they're not, because some of them have IRL stuff, so I'll just play some quick battles. It's fine. But in the meantime, I will get this set up for them, just in case we're actually ready to go. They already did their picks and bans ahead of time, so when we do get into the lobbies, it should be pretty fast. Messaging some people. So while we wait for response from the player that we were pretty sure is busy. I'll be playing with one of the best of 5 people, just for fun until Sabrus is ready for us. Human boy, what blank would you like to learn? What wind would you like to learn? That's a good question. Let me see. In game, if I'm playing the video game Lore of Life, because it's fucking OP, but like in concept, like what they are in what they're supposed to be and what they are in lore, I'd probably want to know the lore of Heavens, because the Wind of Heavens is silly. Oh, I did the dot Great Book of Grudges because that stupid heart, the heart on the right side that YouTube added, I couldn't see your question, so I added a dot. So it moved your comment up above the heart so I can see. Like, look here. So for Edwin, look at Edwin's comment. Who was the player using the skin biter spider build? I want to talk to him. Right? So there's this big fucking heart in the way. Anyway, that was John FB, yeah. So I'd want to learn the Wind of Heavens. I think it's cool. Lightning and space magic. Commanding winds, lightning, and comets from space. I think that's super cool. That'd be awesome. All right, 1 second, everybody. Calm down. Sabrus is here. He's ready. We're going into finals. Let's do this. All right, we're going to the finals. Boop. So it is the best of 5, the title card match between the Phoenix King and Sabrus. High sounds super useful. It does have multiple stuff going on. I just thematically like Heaven's Magic. Where's Queek? Queek is in campaign only. You are never gonna see his ass multiplayer. Okay. I have a code to go join. This is a game. 1, 2, 3. And where everything else up till this point was a replay, we are doing this live. The host kicked me from the game. God damn it. Did it auto join? Yeah. Downside of Heavens is that you are always daydreaming, put too much hope. Hey, it's current year. You just missed your own series. Okay. Sabrus has sent me the entire pick and ban that both players did. But looks like we're already getting into game 1. So I'll take the blocker down and finish doing the thingy. The Phoenix King. XMT's the Phoenix King. Oh yeah, I always have to cut the in his name, otherwise it doesn't fit. Phoenix King. XMT and NC did just have a clan war yesterday on Dove Play's channel. I lost my individual game in that one, but overall the clan won, so huzzah. And I got to make a whole video out of bullshit, but never mind that. I stopped playing Baldur's Gate to watch this. Why does everybody keep playing Baldur's Gate? Isn't that shitty? Like, I heard it's shitty. I heard it's dumb. Like, I heard the gameplay's fine, I heard the graphics are fine, I heard the story's fine, I heard all of it's fine, but I also heard it's for fucking nerds, so it's dumb. I don't know. I only play cool games, like football, beer pong, 69, 420, 7, and the new MMO that just came out called Dunking Losers in Toilets and Broing Out the Third. So those are the only two games I play. So I don't understand this Baldur's Gate thing. I is nerd. Mr. Casual, you heard wrong. I was just kidding. I was just kidding. Everybody's being so aggressive and mean to me. Why? What did I do to deserve this? I have given you nothing but kindness. I only played COD 12. David, it's current year. I should have remembered Call of Duty. That's a good, like, I'm a bro game, which, like, I also enjoy Call of Duty, but like it's not, you can enjoy Call of Duty without being a bro, but almost all bros enjoy Call of Duty, you know what I mean? So yeah, if I was doing my quick fret thing, I could have done that one, but I'm too dumb. Okay, for the pick and bans while they set up here, Tomb Kings versus Norska. Then Game 2 will be Empire versus Warriors of Chaos. Game 3 will be Ogre Kingdoms versus Grand Cathay. Game 4 will be Bretonia versus Dark Elves. And then Dwarves versus High Elves if we get to Game 5. Is Totes on fleek, yo? Lies. Alright. So those are the matchups we have to look forward to. Obviously, we could not get to all of them if it's a 3-0 or a 3-1 in one direction or the other. Another Norska pick today. Norska is very popular right now, and they're a strong faction. I think they're not at the top of the meta because they're not great to blind pick, but they're really good at counter pick. So that's why you're seeing Norska so much, is they counter a lot of the strong factions. They can do well into Dark Elves, and they do well into Skaven. They do well enough into Ogres, do okay into Bretonia. Not great there, but yeah, so they're pretty common. Why do we have a feral mammoth? Why? Why do you have a feral mammoth? Damn it. Why? Anyway, what's its formation? Sabris really likes geometry-based builds. So we have DJ Kotep on his Kotep booth with 2 cheap spells to spam out just to give his guys as much healing as possible. 2 Tomb Guard with Halberds, 1 Tomb Guard with ROR, Kepler Guard. Then a whole bunch of Skeleton Warriors and Spearmen to buy time. 1 Necropolis Knights, the Sphinx of Usef, Necrosphinx ROR, and the Chosen of the Gods Ushabti Greatbow ROR. On the other side for Norska, we have Norskan Ice Wolves, Armored Skin Wolves. Looks like 2 of each of those things. Then we have a Feral Mammoth, Wulfric the Wanderer with Sword of Torgald, Fight or Die, and Seafang. A bunch of Marauders, looks like 5 of those guys. We have the Miststalker Premier Warrior ROR, Marauder Champion with Great Weapons, Triple Gold Chevron unit, and then a Shaman Sorcerer of Fire with Burning Head and Cascading Fire Cloak. What spells? Buff spells are good on a Feral Mammoth? None. The Feral Mammoth is trash. It is absolutely worthless. There are some Mammoths that are okay, not the Feral one. The Feral Mammoth is 1,400 gold of dumb fuck bullshit. It's awful. It is terrible. It is tragic. Anyway, I despise this unit with everything in my being. It's so fucking bad. Counterpick to the A-tier faction, Skaven A. I hate you, Booch. I hate you a lot. The big burning head will come down the line. It looks like it's going to catch 2 units of skeleton warriors and should be able to honestly clear them both out with some damage to marauders as the burning head curves into the marauders. It was angled this way at first and then it ended up over into those marauders. Feral Mammoth started down about 1/4 of its HP. The Tomb King's front line is doing okay for now. I'm pretty sure Tzeentch say there's no scheduled event. Human Boy trying to hide from me. Thanks for streaming, though. Hi, Lil Trill. And I have scheduled 5 streams for the next 8 days, all on my channel, so you shouldn't miss anything else. You're really fond of mammoths, huh? Feral mammoths. I ain't talking shit about the Marauder Chieftain on his mammoth. I ain't talking shit about Wulfric on his mammoth. I'm not even talking shit about the Warstride mammoths. But the feral mammoth specifically is garbage. It's garbage as it gets murdered by the Ushapti Great Bows because, oh yeah, it's rampaging. There's no healing for the fucking thing. It's gonna die like a dumbass. Necropolis Knights are piling into some stuff. Cathay is killing off their Marauder Champions with Great Opens. And I almost said a Waz popped because I saw a green thing pop up and my instincts was like, wow, even though that's not a thing here. Feral Mammoth's under half HP. Feral Mammoth's almost dead because it's fucking rampaging, so nothing can be done about it as Wulfric does a nice little zoopy-zoop boat. The Sea Fang straight through some of these Skeleton Warriors to get rid of it. Feral Mammoth is down to 1/3 HP. The Marauder Champions with great weapons also down to about 1/4 HP or something like that. The Chosen Gods are just eating up that Feral Mammoth for breakfast. The Necropolis Knights are rolling over Marauders. The Norska build is struggling very, very hard. They're starting to get through the front line, though, and this is where things could get a little risky for ye old Tomb Kings. Could is a pretty key word. Necrosphinx, the Necrosphinx ROR is trying to fight these Marauder Champions, which is not a good target for it. It's not great at clearing out a lot of infantry, and those great weapons are doing good damage back to them. But the Ushapti army passive summon for the Tomb Kings is coming in to support this faltering front line. Feral Mammoth is coming back. His impressive 66 value is really why we have him here. Lore of Metal has nice buffs. Could be good with the Feral Mammoth. It could if the Feral Mammoth was any good. I will not entertain this one. I will passively say maybe, who knows what's going on. Like, you never know about a lot of things. I will not say that about the Feral Mammoth. The Feral Mammoth is trash. The Feral Mammoth is the worst unit in the entire game. It fucking sucks. It's so bad. All right. That aside, DJ Kotep and his DJ booth still doing really good damage out there, while Necropolis Knights and the Sphinx of Usef have been caught out, I would say. Yeah, because they're getting torn apart by these Marauder Champions, the Great Opens, the Ice Wolves, the Armored Skin Wolves. It's a bad time. Another Burning Head going to clear out some more Skeleton Spearmen as the Boshapti. Oh, wow, it goes straight down the line of the Tomb Guard, too. Damn. Very nice. Boshapti and Kotep still trying to punish this front line. It's the Premier Warriors, the Mist Stalkers, taking a little bit of damage there from what? From Kotep? I don't know where the Boshapti are firing. Oh, they just got orders now to start firing over here. Okay. Necropolis Knights getting torn down, another unit that I don't think is very good, but some people do enjoy it. Definitely, whether you think they're good or side, it's, you know, they're going to have a bad time when they're surrounded by armor-piercing and anti-large units, so of course they're going to die there. But I just have hatred in my heart. Where is the Feral Mammoth? Is it dead, or am I just blind? Well, let's look for a giant body. Yeah, it's dead. Rest in peace, my friend. You know what? You're not my friend. Fuck you. Don't rest in peace. DJ Kotep's trying to punish this blob, though the Sphinx of Usef is taking a lot of damage in it, so I don't know who's really getting punished here. And we are getting down to a very limited Tomb Kings build. Tomb Kings are up on the damage value, and they're slightly up on the balance of power, though I'm not so sure. Wulfric probably has a Sea Fang left. He has 2 Sea Fangs left. Ooh, that is scary. 2 Sea Fangs left, plus Burning Heads. I mean, even the Kepler Guard and the Tomb Guard don't love getting Burning Headed. So when those guys are all gone, the Chosen of the Gods with no ammo will be pretty meh. Kotep is a terrible duelist on his casket. I could definitely see Norska winning this. They're trying to recover right now, trying to get their bearings. I don't know why the infantry are also retreating. I get the Skin Wolves. The Skin Wolves want to regenerate and stuff, but I don't know why the infantry are pulling back. That seems a little odd. Wulfric gets charged. He has a whole bunch of buffs: Cascading Fire Cloak, Sword of Torgald, and Fight or Die. But all that melee defense ain't helping him too much. He has 74 melee defense. Still, the Sphinx has hit him all 3 times it has swung, and that is really bad for Norska. Wulfric's now surrounded by halberds, still getting hit by the Sphinx, and the Sphinx has not missed him 1 time, despite his 74 melee defense. This thing was 66 melee attack and plus 35 bonus versus large. It hit him every single shot. And Wulfric went from full health to getting deleted. A little over-eager there, overextending into the Tomb King's forces without his front line getting there just yet. Wulfric gets routed off. Now he has a bunch of mobile elements over here that need to just YOLO in and try and save him, because you need his last cast of Sea Fang, plus you need his leadership. But he takes too much damage and he shatters. That is just really bad. That is really, really bad for Norska. A Burning Head tries to clear out the last of the basic skeletons and do some damage to the Tomb Guard. It does a little bit, but not enough. Traz, bless this Sphinx. Yeah, dude. That thing didn't miss any of its hits. You should make a rant video about the worst units for each faction. I did do a top 5 worst units in the entire game list. I did. What do Ogres do in fighting Tomb Kings? I mean, they're just bone. They cannot eat them, make a broth. They still get their army passive, so I think they just eat the bones. Oh, this is going to be a bad blob. If Cathay can fire on that blob, that would be huge, but it looks like the Chosen of Gods are just doing it instead. Balance of power is fading for our friends Norska. Kepler Guard are nicely blobbed up. If there was an Overcast Burning Head to go through them, that could do some good damage. Those are hard to come by these days, as the Miststalkers and Skinwolves are trying to fight the Sphinx of Usef to a standstill. Still some Tomb Guard with halberds nearby there, just pushing off the Norskins over and over again. Dogs versus undead. Tale as old as time. Song as old as rhyme. Beauty and the Beast. Except the Beast is very, very scared of the undead beauty. Miststalkers route. Bounce power is getting closer and closer to straight up army losses. And Wulfric is just about to get off the map, so their leadership problems are only going to get worse. As he goes off, we're going to lose like 5 infantry units, and that might cause army losses. So hang on. Wulfric is gone. And now let's see how accurate I was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. The Cathay fired in, yeah. And then army losses. That was pretty close to accurate. Who wins, Morskatar's Hellion or Pharaoh Mammoth? Okay, that one may be Morskatar's Hellion, but actually Pharaoh Mammoth might take it. I don't know. I don't know. Hang on, I want to find the Pharaoh Mammoth. Here we go. Here's the Pharaoh Mammoth rant for you. I'm gonna hover my mouse over the values, but you're gonna listen to the Pharaoh Mammoth rant. The worst unit, in my opinion, the one in the most need of buffs in Warhammer 3, is the Feral Mammoth. Now, all of the Mammoth variants are struggling a little bit, but the Feral Mammoth is uniquely terrible. 30 armor, to be fair, a giant health pool, but 30 armor plus the ability to rampage, and pitiful melee stats with 30 melee attack, 28 melee defense, makes this unit worthless. I think I mentioned its price point, but in case I did not, it is 1,600 gold for this gigantic piece of shit. Now that is, that's a lot of gold. That's a lot of gold. Deathmaster Stitch is that much money, right? Deathmaster Snitch is that much money. These archers, 350 gold, and these Spearmen with Shields, 350 gold, is 700 total gold, and they are going to dominate this 1,600 gold monstrosity. It does not do a lot of damage to infantry, even on the charge. It does pitiful damage there. It's not that great at pushing through. It can be a decent disruption piece, but for 1,600 gold, you're hoping for a lot more. The Lizardmen can take 2 Feral Bastillodons for 1,300 gold. So they could take 2 Feral Bastillodons and a Skink for the price of this Feral Mammoth. Norska itself could take, what is it? A Skinwolf's 950, and then you have 750 left. You could take a Skinwolf and a Berserker instead of this gigantic piece of garbage. If it even takes any damage at all, it will rampage. You lose control of a 1,600 gold piece that you cannot heal in any way, shape, or form. That is weak to basic archers and basic spearmen, but it's also weak to halberds. It's also weak to handgunners because it's so tall. It's gigantic. It's easy to shoot. It is slow. It does not do a lot of damage. It is expensive. Did I mention it's expensive? The Feral Mammoth is by far the worst unit in this game. I know it was close between this and the Snotling Pump Wagons, because the Snotling Pump Wagons are equally So that's from a couple patches ago. There have been buffs to the Feral Mammoth, and I still think it's garbage, but it got like 200 gold off its price point, I think, because it used to be 1,600. I think it's still I think it's 1,400 now. But yeah. Feral Mammoth is trash. Gut cost of the Mammoth or add some melee attack? Maybe, but it just needs to do way more splash damage. Like, the whole point of a Mammoth is to clear out a lot of infantry rather quickly, but to be weak to bows. And Mammoths are just, like, They're still weak to bows, but they don't kill infantry particularly fast, which is a huge problem. So, no, they need better charges. Anyway, on to game 2, super fast. We have Archaon the Ever-Chosen for the Phoenix King and Warriors of Chaos with Spirit Leech and Burning Head. 2 armored Chaos Trolls, some Chaos Warriors with great weapons. One of the 4 Chaos Warriors is just the Mirror Guard. We have 4 Marauder Horse Masters for some elite skirmish cav. And then Marauders across the front line, one of which is a Marauder of Tzeentch for a little bit more shields, I guess. Make Feral Mammoths cost 1,000, would that work? In their current state, they would have to cost 800 to be viable. They're that terrible. On the other side, we have another geometry build from the Empire. Spearmen and halberdiers, swordsmen mixed in as well. Some of the spearmen are triple gold chevron to give them insane stats, just to make them hold forever. We have 2 huntsmen, 1 outrider grenade launcher. We have the Templehof Luminarch of Hish ROR with the net. Boris Todbringer up in the sky with his debuffs and his self-healing. And then we also have a life caster with just Earthblood to spam heals on the box overall. How does it compare to the Feral Bastildon? Feral Bastildon is better in almost every single way. Feral Bastildon is better at pushing through a front line. It is much tankier. It is less than half the cost. You could still take 2 Feral Bastildons and have 100 gold left over, rather than 1 Feral Mammoth. And each individual Feral Bastildon is way tankier than Mammoth, more disruptive, does more damage, and it's a better duelist. It's not even close. Like, the Feral Bastildon does literally everything better than the Feral Mammoth. It has less HP, but that's also fine, because it has way more armor and a better unit model. So it takes less damage in melee, partially due to armor, but even without armor, like, Bastildons just kind of have a jank-ass model that can really stop them from taking damage from things. Because having a smaller model in this game is 85% of the time better. So having a gigantic, easy-to-hit model like the Mammoths do is actually a bad thing. All right, the triple boxes are moving forward. Huntsman will now be able to shoot at, I guess, the armored Chaos Trolls. Templehof Luminarch's trying to find something to shoot at. And they do net down the Chaos Trolls as the Templehof Luminarch's going to fire. But the Luminarch really doesn't do that much damage to things. It mostly does good damage to single entities like Archaon or something. But it takes out 2 troll models, which is fine. Their leadership tanks to -3 for a hot second, but it's back now. It's okay. Grenade launchers are going to fire at the Chaos Warriors in the front line as Boris also charges in. He is looking to tear out these Marauders immediately, while Huntsmen just fire back at the Skirmish Cavalry. And Huntsmen, any grounded archer will generally outtrade Skirmish Cavalry. Damage-wise, the Empire's fine with this. Somehow, some way, some Mirror Guard are sneaking into the box. Just a few of the Mirror Guard are walking in here, being disruptive, and they're causing the Outriders to do massive friendly fire damage. That is hilarious. Those Mirror Guard are MVPs because they just got in there and the Outriders were like, kill them, and murdered their own Huntsmen. That was awesome. There is Earthblood on the area, but it's a little too late. The Huntsmen are already routed off, and the Outriders grenade launchers continue to bomb their own spearmen straight to hell. The frontline fight has gone in favor of the Empire so far. These triple gold chevron spears are holding, especially with Boris's support. They're doing fine. But with the Huntsmen starting to rout one of them, anyway, that means all 4 of the Skirmish Cav of Chaos can just focus on the other Huntsman, try and do enough damage to get him to rout, and then as soon as anybody leaves the formation, they can just get chased down from there. Templehof Luminarch is now trying to fire at Archaon as he throws down another Burning Head. Tries to angle it down the line to hit 2 spearmen, but it curves off of its own volition, going nowhere, swerving through to hit as little as possible, and then goes over the Mirror Guard and some spearmen who are already routing. That is very unlucky for the Empire. I'm sorry, yes, for Archaon, not the Empire. It's very lucky for the Empire, very unlucky for Archaon. Chaos Warriors, the Grey Weapons chasing down these Huntsmen. That is unfortunate that they had to be the unit that has to do that, but I don't see anything else in really position to do so. The single Huntsmen and the Outriders are way out shooting the Marauder Horse Masters, so those guys have to back off the fight. And the box has been broken. Mirror Guard and Armored Chaos Trolls plowing into non-triple gold chevron state troops. That should break much faster for them. Archaon is still staying out of sight, doesn't want those the Templehof Luminarch to get a lot of value out of him. And more spears are breaking. Skirmish Cav is rallying for the forces of Chaos, trying to come back into the fight. And the Outriders grenade launchers now had to flee the box. And if the Skirmish Cav can turn onto them and get into melee, That would be ideal. Templeoff Luminar continues to fire. Armored Chaos Trolls are routing as the Mirror Guard struggle to hold on. So we have one Huntsman at about half of its original models. Templeoff Luminar has almost fired all of its ammunition. Yikes. Show us where the doll... Show us where the box touched you. Oh, okay. Are Bastildons still good? Yeah, they're good. They're real good. Archaon dives in with Slayer of Kings popped. And Boris wants to get away from him as fast as possible while some Marauders terror out. Chaos Warriors continue to do the grind. And the Templeoff Luminar continues to fire at these trolls. And now he turns onto Archaon. Does he have a net left? He has one net left. I wonder if he casts it onto Archaon. He's trying to charge up right now. Boris is diving back in. And this could run into a friendly fire situation. I have seen the Templeoff Luminar kill its own kind before. Bounce power is about even. The Empire is slowly running out of state troops. Archaon's very healthy. But Archaon's army isn't looking so hot. A nice 2-for-1 Burning Head should go down the line here. Should hit both these units and do good damage value. As Archaon charges in, it looks like he wants to get into melee with the Templeoff Luminarch, but Boris is trying to stop him. Archaon does not have Slayer of Kings. We know it's on cooldown, so he can't fight Boris very well right now. And that Burning Head will get those swordsmen to rout as Marauders come piling in. The Halberdiers won't fare much better either, and Archaon is continuing to duel, just relying on his high as hell base stats to deal with Boris. And Boris is much better when he gets the charge on you or when you're already low on health or stats. Templeoff Luminarch says it's obstructed, but it is charging up anyway. Obstructed my ass! It says it's obstructed, but it fires anyway, does half of Archaon's health, and gets him to move out of the way. Now, Marauder Horsemasters are chasing out the Outriders' grenade launcher. They dealt with them. The other Marauder Horsemasters are firing in onto the Huntsman, trying to get rid of all the range the Empire has left, though that hasn't really mattered in a while. And Boris is still taking damage from Archaon, who, despite the Templeoff shooting him in the back of the head, is still apparently just after Boris. Doesn't give a shit about the Luminarch, which is still tracking him around and has a net left, right? Yeah, it does. So if that thing nets him, he's just going to die. It's trying to fire. It does cast its net, but he gets next to it, so it won't fire at him just now. But Boris is charging him from the rear. Archaon can turn and attack, but he can't do much about this Templeoff Luminarch. Something is going to need to help him out. As it turns, it gets ready to fire. The Armored Chaos Trolls are trying to get in here, trying to maybe shut down... Oh, okay, they're charging Boris, but they needed to charge that Luminarch. And Luminarch misses at point-blank range! Holy shit! Archaon is thanking his lucky Chaos Stars, and he's gonna go for Boris. He's ignoring the Templeoff Luminarch. It only has one shot left, so if it fucks up again, it is just a useless chariot. Chaos has the balance of power back to about even. The damage values are also very even. The life caster for the Empire is back. He can spam up some Earthbloods and try and help out the army in general, but the Spearmen are starting to falter. The Huntsmen haven't had a good place to shoot from for quite a while, and the Skirmish Cav for Chaos need to be rallied. They need to come back. It looks like Archaon's been mostly doing what he can. The Luminarch whiffs its last shot! It whiffs its last shot! Big Spirit Leech onto Boris Toddbringer. The Luminarch is a non-factor in this battle at this point, so Archaon really only needs to focus on Boris. If he spends any of his time fighting the Luminarch, it is a complete waste of his time. And he is going to fight the Luminarch. I find this strange that he focused on Boris when the Luminarch had ammunition, and now that the Luminarch doesn't have ammo, he's wasting his time attacking it. I think that's just really odd priority, so he needs to fix that. Like, the Luminarch's useless now. Just fucking ignore it. It has no nets left, it has no shots, but okay, whatever. Just kill it. It's fine, I guess. Weird how this boxing thing doesn't work well with non-Thor factions. Yeah, it's doing okay for now, but yeah, I get your point. Knew it was coming. I've seen that so many times. Hate box, but I love Luminarch. Don't know how I feel about this meme game. Yeah, I don't know how much of a meme it really is. Skirmish Cav are running in. They're nearly out of ammunition. It looks like they're trying to throw at Boris at point-blank range, but they probably have to opt into melee and help out Archaon because he really needs a bro here. Meanwhile, the bounce power is slightly favoring the Empire at this point. We still have some healthy Spearmen. I wonder if Archaon has any burning heads left for those guys, or if he's saving all of his Winds of Magic for Spirit Leech, or is he just flat out of Winds of Magic, which is also possible. Still have some Chaos Warriors grinding, doing their best. More Skirmish Cav with a lot more ammunition are in the distance, starting to rejoin the fight now. We could have used them a little earlier, but okay. Skirmish Cav get a little bit more poke onto Boris. Archaon's got to do something, though. I don't really know what Chaos is trying to achieve, but they are letting their Chaos Warriors get sniped out one by one by Boris when they back off like this. Like, these skirmish cav, I don't know why they're so far away from the formation. If they want to run down the Huntsman, that's fine, but, like, I don't know, use some of your skirmish cav that don't have any ammo left. Or just get on with it, but... yeah, they're taking too long, man. You're losing all your Chaos Warriors while this is happening. Oof. Oh, some rough plays from Chaos in the late game. Can I join? Join what? What? Boris is nearly heal capped. And I think this game is doomed unless Archaon has some burning heads. Because he needs to clear out all this chaff, and he's lost his entire army with whatever the fuck he's doing over here. Like, I try not to be too much of a dick, but I have literally no idea what the Warriors of Chaos is doing over here. Just wasting their time. Because now, like, you had two healthy-ish Chaos Warriors who both got routed and then took a lot of damage. What? Why are you stalling? Every minute is good for the Empire. Chaos doesn't want to draw this out, because you have more time for Earthbloods, you have more time for Boris to regenerate. Is this a tournament? No, this is Umbrella's WFC thing. Nah, dude, read the description! Read the description, World Beater! You know what's going on. Alright, we have some Chaos Warriors rallying, but again, Chaos is running away, leaving the entire Empire force to just go kill these Chaos Warriors. What is happening? What are you doing? Where are you going? I guess he's trying to buy time for his Chaos Trolls to heal up, but that will not matter. These guys could hit their heal cap and it won't matter, because Boris is just going to rout them as soon as anything happens. I'm very upset. I forgot, give me a break. No. Never. Phoenix King played in your tournament under Human Boy's cousin? Yeah, that was a reference to a stream we had a long time ago. Boris has officially heal capped. Phoenix King is still trying to skirmish a little bit. I'm so confused. He's allowed to reform? Yeah, it's fine. I don't think it's a rule break. I think it's just a bad decision. So, Sabrus was allowed to pick off any of his Chaos Warriors that could have potentially rallied, and now the Empire is charging in again as a front. You have two Skirmish Cav who don't have a lot of models, so they don't have a lot of DPS left in them. So they're just kind of poking away, but the Earthbloods are way outdoing any damage you're doing. Temple of Luminarch's charging forward. Significant amount of no one cares, and Boris just gets to charge for free. He's routing off some of your stuff. Like, what? Please, dude, you have to do something. You, like, fucking 16 and 29 random-ass skirmishers are not out DPSing Boris cycle-charging your whole army to death. You're giving so much of your army away for free, man. All right, now he commits to the charge, but Archaon, like, all these horsemen are here. Big burning head down the line will be good, but Archaon has to turn around and fight Boris soon. There's the burning head. It'll do some serious friendly fire to Chaos too, though, because those horsemen just charged in, so the horsemen are also in here. Chaos routs off all of their own troops. Slayer of Kings is popped for Archaon as he does really good damage to Boris Todbringer. He's trying to solo carry this game as his whole force routes away, but Boris's leadership debuff stuff is going to get Archaon probably to rout here any second now. His leadership is down to 29. While he's winning in melee combat, if that ever ticks down to losing melee combat, he will just rout outright. A big heal for everybody in the Empire blob as Archie's now surrounded by triple gold chevron spears and 2 characters. Some Chaos Warriors are trying to rejoin the fight. Marauder Horsemen are trying to rejoin the fight. Thankfully for Archaon, they just terror routed, so they can't terror out again. Maybe if they charge in here, they could get a mass Empire rout. But they're just going to sit and throw rather than charge in. Archaon needs your bodies. He doesn't need your pathetic-ass spears, you know, your little javelins. So they're still throwing. Some Marauder Horsemasters are charging in. Archaon's trying to solo carry. He is hitting Boris a bunch, and here comes the cavalry charge we wanted. Yes, so now you could rout, maybe cause a mass rout for the Empire, buy Archaon some space, then you surround Boris instead and beat his ass to death. Maybe. One Halberdier does route the Temple off Luminarch, also routes. The Jade Wizard is considering routing, but the Chaos Forces all run away. They're trying to cycle charge, but they are just shattering outright. As soon as that charge bonus wore off, Boris's debuffs took over and pushed them away. Sudden lag spike, a lot of the... Yeah, see, that's why I was worried. If his whole strategy was just to let the Chaos Trolls regenerate, they fucking shattered at, like, over half HP anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like, their leadership is too low. Archaon's running around. Boris is after him. He's trying to get outside of the spears and then fight, but he has taken rear attacks from Boris. He throws down a nice little Spirit Leech as Boris opts out of the fight. And Boris is going to rejoin his troops as his troops get another Earthblood from the Jade Wizard. They are just going to rout off the Chaos Warriors again, leave Archaon alone. I'm here, we can start now? Fair enough. Army losses hits Archaon. And that is GG. I thought that was like a really good game, well played by both players until the halfway point, and I just like, maybe I'm wrong. It's entirely possible I'm wrong. But just everything I think I know about Total Warhammer was just turned on its head, and I didn't like the decisions. So shit happens. Shit happens. And maybe it's something that in hindsight Phoenix King would agree, or maybe in hindsight he would disagree. I don't know. 5,850 value on Archaon the Everchosen. Skirmish Cav did okay. Marauders did fine. Chaos Warriors did fine. Mirror Guard did fine. Trolls did not get a lot done. On the other side, Temple off Luminarch, Grenade Launchers, and Boris did a lot of the carrying. Alright, that's that. Sabrus is already ready. We have Grand Cathay readied up. Phoenix King is still on the Warriors of Chaos, though I know he has to switch factions. Alright, Sabrus has sent me the order, so what is game 3? Vampire... Wait. Ogre Kingdoms versus Grand Cathay. Okay. Sorry, answering some messages. Is this live? Yeah. All right. If you want to go to game 4 and possibly 5, you are rooting for Cathay. If you want the series to end right here, right now, you are rooting for the Ogre Kingdoms. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, people are asking me if it's live. Multiple people are asking me. Yes, the final, the best of 5 main event, which we are in, is live. Yes. The players did their picks and bans ahead of time, though, because they knew this was coming for a week. And then Saber said he talked to the Phoenix King about having even their builds ready. So they both just, like, load up builds and go. So that's what we're dealing with now. Which is nice. It's nice that both players are ready to go. And I don't want to be, like, too hard on the Phoenix King. Because maybe, like, again, it's all about decision-making. So maybe, like, he just values a different thing more than I do. And just because he's playing different than me doesn't mean he's playing wrong. But, yeah, I just had strong opinions on it, so I expressed them. But, like, the Olive Branch will extend is the last 3 times I've played the Phoenix King. He won all 3 of them. So, you know, he's not a bad player by any means, and I wasn't just trying to, like, just flame the guy. You know what I mean? Like, shit happens. And I'm also infamously bad with skirmish cavalry, so maybe I just don't value them highly enough. Alright, for Cathay, on a rather small map, Phoenix King is constructing a box. We have some Spearmen, Jade Warriors with Halberds, 2 Iron Hail Gunners, 2 Celestial Dragon Guard, 2 Cannons, 2 Jade Lancers. We do have an Alchemist, Final Transmutation, and Plague of Rust. And we have a Lord Magistrate in the Sky with Inspired Defense and Inspired Assault. Interesting. I don't love Celestial Dragon Guard. I understand them versus the Ogres. Like, in a build, that makes a ton of sense. I was just saying that, like, I've seen more Celestial Dragon Guard in the last... Oh, Hazel. I've seen more Celestial Dragon Guard in the last month than I have in the entirety of Warhammer 3's life cycle before that, and they have never impressed me. So we'll see if they do well here, but they feel so blech. On the other side, for the Ogre Kingdoms, we have 5 Nobblar Trappers, including the Boglars of the Mad Marshes, who get regeneration if they're in water. There is no water here, so they will struggle with that aspect of it. We have an Iron Blaster, 3 Cavalry, 2 of which are Mournfangs with great weapons. One is the Sky Striders, the Crusher with great weapons, ROR. 1 Lead Belcher, along with 1 Iron Blaster, a front line of Ogre Bulls and Ogre Bulls dual weapons, a Slaughtermaster the Great Maw with Troll Guts. I am not in love with this Ogre build. I think Cathay could beat it. I am super scared, though, that their Lord is in a balloon up in the sky with Lead Belchers, an Iron Blaster, and 5 Nobblar Trappers. This guy might just be fresh fish that they can kill off pretty easily. So I'm very concerned about that. Overall, though, looking at just the builds, and if I had to put money on one, I would bet Cathay is going to win. It depends. It depends how quickly Cathay realizes that they're getting flanked. And if these 5 Vanguard Trappers get to take out both the Grand Cannons, then it could get really bad because it'll just turn to an Iron Blaster kite game. The Iron Blasters receive several nerfs, but if Sabrus uses its ammo, like, nearly perfectly, then it'll be fine. Nobblar Trappers advancing. Already spotted. Even this one all the way over here was spotted, so it looks like they were just spotted right away. The Jade Lancers do slam into them. A lot of Cathay's infantry are going back to deal with this threat. And the Jade Lancers, if they can rout the Trappers, that would be good. Balloon Lord seems like a distraction, Carnifex. Cheap Harmony. It does not provide Harmony. He does not count as a Yang unit. He doesn't count as anything. Oh, the Eye of the Dragon allowed him to spot the Nobblars sooner. That's pretty funny. That's why they were spotted so quickly. Anyway, one of them's routing, and it'll probably route straight off the map. More cavalry are trying to stop the other guys. And now these Ogre Bulls are forced to charge, because without the Nobblar flank, 2 cannons are going to easily outduel the Iron Blaster. So the Ogres are forced to advance way ahead of schedule, and now without any Nobblars in the front line, they're just going to run straight to Halberds and get wrecked. 2 Nobblars are pushed off. Third is almost on its way. And so far, the Peasant Long Spears are dying to those guys, but they're holding it down for now. Iron Blaster's down to half HP, even while getting some heal. Lords don't provide Harmony for Cathay for reasons, yeah. I mean, I'm fine with not more things on Cathay getting Harmony, because Harmony's a dumb mechanic, but yes, it is dumb that they don't provide the dumb mechanic. Ogre Bulls get shredded by the Iron Hail Gunners on their way in, and they are on their way out already. Iron Blaster taking a lot of damage, and this is looking like a very quick GG. Nobblars do push off the Jade Lancers. Nobblar Trappers, for some reason, are a pretty solid melee unit, despite all other intentions. And the Mournfang Cav are here. Then we have a crap ton of Halberds, but the Iron Hail Gunners will have to turn around and help deal with those guys. Cannon's still trying to finish off the Iron Blaster. The Lead Belchers also might get a little concerning, but ooh, big play here. Big play from Cathay. Using your Jade Lancers to abandon your backline sounds risky, but it is going to pay off since he'll catch the Lead Belchers completely out in the open, and that really reduces the threat to Cathay in the late game. Because if we got down to just melee Halberds versus a Lead Belcher, I mean, that could be a terrible time. the Lead Belcher team could kite them and do a lot of damage. The Iron Hail that is left turns around and starts firing at the Sky Striders. Meanwhile, the big Pokey Poke Balloon is poking and poking. Both cannons are fucked at this point, but the only thing you needed the cannons for was the Iron Blaster, who is coming back. And that's bad. That is real bad. You also need the cannons for the Lead Belchers, but if the Jade Lancers can finish them off, which it doesn't look like they can before the Mournfang Cav come out, so the Ogres do still have hope in this game for now. Sky Striders, Shield Breaker is on them? Oh, from the Lord Magistrate. Okay, they don't have shields, but still, that's interesting. Iron Hail Gunners firing into those guys. Sky Striders almost routed. There they go. They do eventually completely rout. And this cannon crew might actually rally and come back to their mounts, which will be great against that Iron Blaster. Jade Lancers, who tried to get away from the Mournfang Cav, did not get very far. They will now get routed off. As the dreaded Legion of Halberds sallies forth. Little Iron Hail Gunner tries to fire, but not fast enough as the Ogres just run them the fuck down. Iron Blaster's going to fire straight into the faces of the Iron Hail Gunners. Nope, just going to run away. Okay. Healing coming out for the Mournfang Cav. And Noblars are still here, still pushing, still punishing our Peasant Long Spear brethren. As Jade Warrior Halberds get to fight Ogre Bulls in the backline. That's real bad for the Ogre Bulls. Cannon Crew is getting run down by the Ogre Bulls with dual weapons, so that's a big, big win for the Ogres. And without cavalry, without proper range, they can't take a lot of agency on these routing units, so the Noblars should be able to come back later. And the Sky Striders rally while kissing the edge of the map. That is so funny. We'll see if they even matter. But that's really funny. Iron Hails and Celestial Dragon Guard are clumped up. That's real bad. You don't want these clumped up at all, because if the Iron Blaster or the Lead Belchers get a second to shoot at them, that's going to be nasty. But the Balloon Lord is still poking at the Sky Striders. Ooh, he even poked at the Ogre Bulls and got them to rout. If he can rout the Sky Striders somehow, which their leadership seems really solid right now, but if he can rout them, I mean, the Cannon Crew could come back. Then you have a full health from Mournfang Cav over here. That's going to be fine, actually. That's fine. Ogres probably have this. They can kite with their cannons. I'm more worried about their ammunition than their stomping power. I think they have a lot of damage, but their ammo isn't what it used to be. Noblar still getting chased around by some Cathay guys. The Balloon Lord is attempting to poke at the Sky Striders from across the map, and he is missing horrendously bad. The Iron Blaster continues to kite away. Some Ogre Bulls have rallied in the distance. Balloon is going to shoot at them immediately, trying to get them to rout one more time. Just go straight off the map with their speed and proximity to the edge there. And Cathay is getting spread out. The Iron Hail Gunners end up being left alone. Jade Lancers will get pushed away by the Lead Belchers. So those guys will rout, maybe even shatter. Iron Hail Gunners, the last of the ranged for Cathay, get caught out on their own. Mournfang's going to charge into them, and that is free value for the big boys. Lantern will probably continue shooting at these Ogre Bulls. Sky Striders taking a little bit of damage. Iron Blaster turns around. Jade Warrior's Halberd's kind of getting a clumped formation, so that's going to be a real bad volley. And a pretty much dead unit. 14 ammo, 15 ammo left on those guys. Peasant Long Spears running away from the Sky Striders. They're actually trying to chase the Noblars, but they are going to have to turn and fight the Sky Striders. If they take a full-on rear charge without countering or anything like that, that is going to be nasty, and they'll probably like instantly rout. They do turn. They aren't braced, but they're at least going to fight back. And they take like 2,000 HP on that charge. Not even kidding. Yeah, they took like 2,000 HP on that charge. Just from 7 of the Sky Striders. Jade Warrior Halberd is routed off. Lead Belchers and the Iron Blaster continue to kite. The Iron Hail Gunners are going to be routed once more in the Harmony, trying to help the Celestial Dragon Guard. But they are currently getting run over by Mournfangs, who aren't going to stay and let the damage come back. They're kind of putzing around a little bit. So it took about 1,000 damage for that. Meanwhile, Jade Warrior Halberd's getting shot in the side from the Iron Blaster. More healing for the Sky Striders are back. Noblars continue to get chased off by peasants. Balloon Lord pushed the Ogre Bulls away once more. We still have a Celestial Dragon Guard and a Jade Warrior back here. And this Alchemist has to have, like, all of the Winds of Magic on the world, which she should probably only use on Final Transmutation. I don't think Plague of Rust is going to be useful at this point, because most of your spears have armor piercing anyway, besides these two Peasant Long Spears. I guess that one too. But all your halberds have armor piercing, so you don't need Plague of Rust. You just need damage. You just need outright damage. And this could be a big moment. If she can cast a Final Transmutation onto that Iron Blaster, she could just kill it. I don't know if she's going to be in range. I also don't know if the Phoenix King has the same opinion on that I do. Looks like they're walking over towards it. Balloon Boy is going the other direction. Where is he going? Why is he going? Where are you going? Where are you going? There's nothing over there. Why are you flying further away from your forces? Get over there, you fuck. What is this guy doing? All right, Noblars rallied in the trees because they can't see the peasants that are chasing them. Peasants have stalk when they're in the trees like that, and routing units can't see stalked units, so they just rallied and beat up those peasants. Iron Blaster is setting up. Is there a final trans to punish it? Dismember slows down the Celestial Dragon Guard as the Iron Blaster is going to shoot them point blank. Balloon Boy is still wandering as he feels. Decent-ish shot on Celestial Dragon Guard. There's a Final Transmutation. Is it Overcast or is it not? It is Overcast. It hurts that lady, but it will finish off the Iron Blaster. Butcher is trying to counteract the Final Transmutation damage. It just keeps blinking up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, but it routs. And its speed is not enough. Its leadership is healthy enough that it should rally before hitting the edge of the map, and that is a brutal Butcher that just got thrown down. The Balloon Boy is trying to come back to the main formation. Iron Blaster only has one route left in its little body. Jade Warriors, Celestial Dragon Guard, all taking a bunch of damage from the Lead Belchers. The Ogres are probably going to win this at this point. Cathay just got pulled apart way too much, and they got picked off one by one by one by one. Trollguts is healing up the Sky Striders some more while they charge into the Alchemist. They're getting shot in the meantime. Halberds are coming up to help out a little bit. The Balloon Boy should probably shoot at the Iron Blaster. It's going to be more worth his time and ammunition as the Iron Blaster fires up at him. Does it hit our balloon-based comrade? Yes. Takes about 600 HP off of him. Noblars rally once more to turn around and fight the peasant peasant long spearmen. And with those peasants getting shot in the back by the Noblar trappers, they are going to die for sure. Iron Blaster continues to poke out the Lord Magistrate. Lead Belchers shoot the Celestial Dragon Guard from the side. We're down to a half health Jade Warrior and the Alchemist. And I think that's just GG. That is a Ripperonis. Sky Striders can cycle charge to their heart's content, Lead Belchers can kite, and the Iron Blaster is chunking out that Lord in the sky. And the Lord up there is a lot of the balance of power for Cathay. So as he gets more and more chunked, the game is realizing that he just can't win. Another Final Transmutation on the Iron Blaster will finish it off for good. Though I am in agreement with chat, I don't think that's even enough to save this. Lead Belchers have 8 volleys left. They can soften up these spears to such a degree that the 2 cavalry here can just finish it off. Though the cavalry do path back into the Final Transmutation, a little bit of a whoopsie here as they are walking through that, taking a good amount of damage. Celestial Dragon Guard get caught out yet again by the Sky Striders, charge down, and they will rout. Peasant Long Spears in the forest are fighting Noblar Trappers to the death. You can just ignore the balloon since he has no agency. He's been firing all game, and he has like 900 value. I imagine we'll be getting to see his buffs pretty soon here. He has those buff spells, the Harmonic Defense or whatever. I don't know where he's going. Like, why is he running away? He's running away from the Lead Belchers, I guess, but they're faster than you. They're going to catch up. And without your leadership aura, these guys are going to die. And he hasn't, like... Are these things... They're just on a cooldown. I don't know why he hasn't used them in a while. Leadbelcher's going to hit the clumped up spears, doing a lot of damage to those guys. 7 volleys left on them. Peasant long spears in the distance down to 0 leadership. They will rout any second here, and the Nobblar should be able to finish them off. Jade Warriors of Halberds trying to fight back against the Mournfang Cav, but the buffs are not popped from our friends Cathay. Did not pop his Inspired Defense or whatever. Inspired Defense, Inspired Assault. Maybe they're still on cooldown. Maybe he used them when I wasn't looking. The game should at you. He'll start losing leadership for having only a flying unit. All of the Halberds are dead. These peasants in the distance did manage to best their Nobblar foes. But this is over. There we go. Final Transmutation was getting cast on the Lord. I just don't think it mattered at that point. GG's. Sabrus is going to take the 3-0. The Iron Blaster didn't even pay for itself. That's the funny part. Mournfang Cav and Sky Striders did okay, except that one that got 0 value and got murdered. Leadbelchers paid for themselves with gusto, 2,000 value for them. Ogre Bulls got mostly crushed. Nobblar Trappers mixed, but overall fine. On the other side, Lord Magistrate, 1,100 value, not terrible. 999 for the Alchemist, also not terrible. Jade Warrior Halberds, not great. They just got kited and run down. Celestial Dragon Guard, also really not great, just got kited. Peasant Long Spears actually did better than their contemporaries. Iron Hail Gunners, mixed but overall fine. Jade Lancers, great. Mixed but overall fine. And then the Cannons, great, is what I meant to say there. The Cannons did really well. GG's, GG's. We'll be doing another faction war in the future. Very, very soon after the patch. Very, very soon after the patch, yes. I didn't, and before I say this, this is not shade at Turin. It's just a fact of what happened. But not everything has to be negative, all right? So Turin and I discussed that he wanted to do a faction war with this patch, because I did a faction war as soon as the Chaos War was released. And I was like, cool. So I didn't want to saturate the market with too much of the same content. I backed off the faction war. It's not like I was chomping at the bit to do it. I just, Turin said he wanted to do it, so I said, cool. And then there was, I'll explain what's happening in a second. And then there was the Bretonnia shit that really fucked with him a lot, and the ogre stuff, and it was complicated to run a faction war in the current state of things. Now, he didn't talk to me about this, but I'm inferring that's why it didn't end up materializing, is I'm guessing it was just like, in his mind, the game was in such a bad state that it's not worth it to host a faction war, and I can completely see the reasons in that. But then by the time I kind of realized he wasn't going to do one, we were like halfway through the patch, so then I didn't, for the same reason, I didn't want to do a faction war. Didn't want to do a faction war halfway through a patch, and then as soon as the next patch launches, do another faction war right away. So we just call it a wash. Also, what happened with my tier list video was I thought about doing a tier list, but then Bretonnia was so fucking broken, and ogres were really, really strong, and there was a lot of stuff that was just broken in the game. I was like, okay, there should probably be a hot fix, so I'm going to hold off on my tier list until we get a hot fix, because there's no way this Bretonnian Cav stuff was intended. And then that lasted the whole patch. So then, like, we're 2/3 of the way through the patch, and I'm like, okay, there's definitely not a hot fix coming. But again, I could do a tier list video, but now there's a patch in, like, the next month here. And is the tier list video even going to be that exciting? Because everybody definitely knows what the meta is by now. One, the patch has been going on long enough, and two, it's pretty obvious what's broken. So it's like, yeah, in your tier list, oh, wow, Bretonnia and Ogres, us S tier, Dark Elves, A tier, this is exciting and cool content. So it was just like, this patch, between Turin and I, either communicating, miscommunicating, or the patch just being dog shit in different areas, those kind of content didn't come out. So it is what it is. Yes, to explain what is going on, Sabrus offered the Phoenix King, because the Phoenix King is a very, very good High Elf player. Sabrus is a very good dwarf player. Game 5 was going to be High Elves versus Dwarves, and Sabrus offered Phoenix King to skip to Game 5, and this winner wins it all. Which is better, the Dwarf mains Dwarfs or the High Elf mains High Elves? So, Sabrus, while up 3-0, offered his opponent winner takes all, the grudge match that they both really wanted. So yes, Sabrus was technically up 3-0, but since this is winner take all, I upgraded their scorecard to 9-9, and now we can all pretend there was an epic best of 19, and this is the last game, the Dwarves and the High Elves. Because in the lore, these two factions have a huge grudge against each other, and these players, there's a lot of banter. I can't tell how much of it is friendly banter and how much of it is actually shitting on each other, but these two go back and forth a lot about Dwarves and High Elves and Discords and stuff, so it's just pretty cheeky. And for a fun event, I'm sure Sabrus was like, man, I really wanted to play my Dwarves on the big stage, so hey, Phoenix King, let's just do the Dwarf thing. And he's like, all right. All right. So for the High Elf build, we have 2 Bolt Throwers, 5 White Lions of Krace, one of which is the Pure Main Company. We have 4 Archers with light armor to try and protect them a little bit from the pew-pew of the Dwarves, I imagine. Rahagva's Pride, armor-piercing anti-infantry, War Lions with their Roar that can actually maybe get a Dwarf to rout with their stalwart leadership. We have Imric up in the sky with all of his buffs, and then a Mage of Life on the ground with Regrowth and Earthblood. On the other side, for the Dwarves, it's a Dwarven build that this is more of how I like to play Dwarves and how I like to watch Dwarves. A lot of people hate watching Dwarves. I hate watching a specific kind of Dwarf build. I don't really like watching boxes or blobs or gyrocopter kite or any of that stuff, but I do really appreciate a staunch line of boys advancing, backed up by Thunderers and Rangers and Quarrelers and Iron Drakes, Trollhammer Torpedoes, all that stuff. So this is like one of my favorite Dwarven builds. Frontline is a bunch of Dwarf Warriors and Miners. Backline is Longbeards. Looks like 4 Longbeards in there. We have some Miners Blasting Charges held in reserve, Bugman's Rangers, 3 of those guys, and Thoric Ironbrow for the army-wide buffs. Also, we have 1 Gyrocopter with a Brimstone Gun, armor-piercing anti-large fire damage missiles. The Bolt Throwers are firing in onto the Dwarves as they sally forth. Thoric Ironbrow taking some poke. He is going to make his way for the trees, and he might have to rejoin his army a little bit later. He is popping the Rune of Negation on himself. There it is. For the 44% damage resistance, plus his 25% physical resistance, plus his 15% missile resistance. That is a lot of resistances to these Bolt Thrower shots, and that one just hit him for a whole 31 damage out of their 147 weapon strength. Bolt Throwers, realizing he's gotten into the trees and has all those buffs, do start to just turn on to the other Dwarves, and the Archers are firing down onto the Minus Blasting Charges and the Bugman's Rangers now. Bugman's Rangers do have a regeneration, so they're largely okay with this. Gyrocopters dodge some arrows, not taking literally any damage from those arrows, and flying away from Imric. Their 105 speed is superior to his 80, so they'll be fine. Bugman's Rangers are stupidly strong. I have not seen them do anything particularly crazy. I think they're good. I don't think they're insane, but could just be me. The Bolt Throwers have been overrun. Now, you can tell a good elf player by the fact that they will often abandon their Bolt Throwers and get their crews to move because their crews are faster than they are mounted. That is something that I always forget to do, and then it's too late, and then they get cut down. So good job, Phoenix King, for running away. Archers continuing to fire. Rahagva's Pride charging in a little bit as Imric keeps trying to chase the Gyrocopters with Brimstone Guns. Now that the Bolt Throwers are pushed offline, Thoric can rejoin his army. No issues for him there, and the Elves are continuing to run away. I don't know if they're obeying the attacking rule right now. There we go. Okay, Rahagva's Pride are charging. So I'm like, I think Imric just trying to attack while the rest of your army runs away. I don't think that's attacking. But Rahagva's Pride get a downhill charge onto the Miners, take them down to about half HP, and are going to run away. Meanwhile, the Archers stop and fire at the Dwarves, covering the Lions' little escape. Oh, Empire Knights get beat up by Bugman's Rangers? I mean, yeah. Empire Knights are not the best versus Dwarves. Like, you need them in the matchup, but they're not going to do a lot of damage. Really? Bugman's, though? They only have 40 armor. Is it the 38 melee defense? Oh, they have charge defense versus large for some reason. Okay. That's weird. Anyway, Ogres Pride pop back in with the Mighty Roar. They really want to get these miners to rout so they can just chase them off the map. And there we go. -8 leadership. The miners do rout. Ogres Pride score their first kill. Imric continues to spend his time with the gyrocopters, and some charge shenanigans got him to catch up to them. Despite their 105 speed, his 80 speed caught up to them and started attacking. Gyrocopters are going to lose models here, but it looks like the Dwarves haven't realized they're in danger just yet. Down to 2 out of 4 as Imric just tears them apart, and he even routs them off. Ogres Pride plow into Bugman's Rangers and Longbeards while archers try and cover the attack. Dwarves continue marching forward. The Rune of Doom is popped to give everybody fear, but also melee attack. Gyrocopters down to 1 model, and they will rally. But Imric is still chasing them around. Bugman's Rangers firing at archers. Yeah, it's the charge defense that's weird. I don't know why Bugman's Rangers have charge defense. It seems odd to me. Anyway, Longbeards and Miners chasing Ogres Pride around. Imric continues to chase the Gyrocopter. And archers are running away. Some archers are trying to fire back, though they get counterfired by the Bugman's Rangers. And their 40 armor and no shields won't beat the 40 armor, bronze shields, and regen of the Bugman's Rangers. So those light archers are going to be in for a bad time. Gyrocopter rallies and immediately gets orders to run away from Imric, who still busies himself with those guys. Ogres Pride are going to get another rear charge onto the miners. Big damage. And that should finish those guys off. Bugman's Rangers turn to fire. Ogres Pride are actually just going to get onto the Bugman's Rangers. Charge defense versus large, but it looks like they weren't braced. Mighty Roar is also popped. Archer's also going to fire in from the High Elves and try and support these guys. Bugman's Rangers 40 armor because their shields are facing the wrong way, most likely due to the lion attack. Will take a lot of damage. Now, Bugman's Rangers actually aren't going to help their fellow Rangers. They are just going to fire back at the High Elves instead. On the far side, the High Elves have almost lost an archer to those other Rangers. And the Lions are still in here. Damn, Dwarves just sacrificing their own. They don't give a shit. Longbeards are trying to kill those Ogres Pride and getting decent damage down. They're down to half HP. I wonder if there's a regrowth or Earth Blood for them. Johnny, yeah, that's fair lore-wise. I just think it's a weird gameplay design choice. I don't know. Charge defense is a little too common in the current game state. Charge defense is a little silly because it's like, I don't know, man. It definitely encourages like boxing or blobbing or something when you have charge defense or charge reflection. Blocking a charge through sheer irritation and grumpiness. Yeah, it makes sense lore-wise. I just meant, like, gameplay-wise. It's either a strange or, in my opinion, unwise decision to give so much charge defense across the game, right? Like, Cathay's roster has a ton of it. And then Cathay forms a bunch of boxes, and you're like, okay. Is it OP? No, I just don't think it's... I don't think it's healthy. You know, unhealthy and OP are different concepts. What up, Way? How you doing, man? We had 3 Plague Cog Catapult games before this. Dude, you never show up for the Plague Cog Catapults. I don't know why you even bother showing up anymore, man. We've disappointed you so many times. The High Elves still kiting around. Imric dives in onto the Bugman's Rangers. They are ITP, because of course they are. Why are they ITP? Whatever. So Bugman's Rangers, ITP, Imric can't terror out them off. But there's also nothing nearby to punish him. Longbeards aren't slayers. You can just ignore them. If you have brace, stand... If you brace and stand, then charge from the front. Won't get anything. But still charging from a flank or back works perfectly fine. Yes, but if you form a box, there is no flank. That's what I was talking about, Johnny. Which is why you see a lot of box builds and that kind of thing. It's just if you don't present a flank, then you just have to charge into charge bonus. Get with the program? Yeah. Imric is the only thing really attacking here. I think you could consider these guys like moving up to flank or something, but I don't know. I walked away for like 15 minutes and it's 9. Man, I missed a lot. It's 9 what? It's 9 what? I'm so confused, Carol Khan. Alright, the High Elves are continuing to run around and faff about and occasionally shoot in. This is way more exciting than watching a box game, by the way. I don't know what to fucking tell you, Booch. I don't. Regrowth is on to the Ogres Pride. I don't think I do think that's a kind of disingenuous argument. Boxes can be boring and other things can be boring. Just because other things are boring doesn't mean that boxes are suddenly interesting. Score is 9-9, weird cutoff there. Oh, yeah, Scarocon. Yeah. It was a 3-0, but then Sabrus really wanted to play as Dwarves and Phoenix King really wanted to play as High Elves, so Sabrus offered to just play winner take all the final game because they wanted to play their High Elves versus Dwarves. Yeah. So I just put it to 9-9 because it doesn't matter. It's just like whoever wins this just gets it according to their little agreement, which is fine. But yeah, Kite is my least favorite. Yeah, Kite is my least favorite playstyle overall. And not all Kite games are stinkers, but man, when a Kite game is a stinker, it takes forever. Imric lands back in on the Bugman's Rangers. Archers fire in a little bit more. And Longbeards fight White Lions of Krace. In the woods, Lord of Dragons actually pretty good shout out there. 0 melee attack, 24 melee defense for these Longbeards, and all of a sudden the White Lions should be able to just cleave through them. This is hardly even Kite. I agree, Lenorm. I agree. But I also don't think all things are created equal. Like, I can say generally box builds are boring, but there was that Empire box build versus Warriors of Chaos, and that game ended up being a banger. So not all box games are bad. I'm just saying, like, on the whole, at aggregate, I don't like watching box builds. Kite games can be good, but at the whole, over aggregate, I don't personally like playing against, playing as, or watching Kite, you know? So it's just like, it's personal preference. And there are some people with very valid arguments that are like, oh, wow, if every game was just two front lines running at each other, killing each other in like 2 minutes, wow, so exciting, so cool. Yeah, you have a point. Too much of anything is boring, but I definitely enjoy casting Rush a lot. I enjoy casting heavy artillery and heavy shooting a lot. Yeah, those kind of things are definitely my favorite. Breath attack from the Star Dragon down the side of the Dwarf Warriors, though the breath attack did hurt him because it counts as a spell as far as Thoric's concerned, and his locus of power does actually affect it. Imric's diving in onto Thoric, trying to catch him out, trying to snipe him, and do some good damage there. As the Pyrmane Company stand nearby, they could come back and offer assistance, but it looks like there they go. They will try and help Imric deal with Thoric while the archers run away from the Bugman's Rangers' fire, and Imric's back up into the sky. Archers with the light armor getting shot at by Bugman's Rangers, as Longbeards and Miners are going to fight the White Lions of Krace. As for Ogres Pride, ooh, they're going to get a nasty flank attack. I wonder how much damage they do to the Bugman's Rangers. Nice dodge on the Miners of Blasting charges from the White Lions. They tried. They tried their best. Ogres Pride are in. The Dragon Horn is popped, giving all the High Elves way higher melee stats, and this is their big push. Earthblood also to heal up these guys, and Ogres Pride probably going to pop their Roar soon to try to get these Longbeards and Bugman's Rangers to rout. So that fight is going okay for them. On the other side, Imric is continuing to charge some stuff. White Lions are trying to fight their way through, and Archers are moving back up to get a little bit of poke in. The Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers probably want to go find their mounts eventually, but ooh, the Dwarves are sitting right on top of it. These are the ones that are angling around to get over there too. It's almost, might be the first time I've rooted for the Dowie in this matchup. Yeah, you're a pretty good High Elf player. You're usually rooting for them. Mr. Lenorm. Or Jack Norman. Whichever you are. Imric's still charging ground. Looks like he's avoiding Thoric overall. The Pyramid Company is fighting Longbeards and Thoric and Bugman's Rangers. Archer's still firing in. The Dwarves are down in the balance of power. They're down in the damage value. And, of course, the High Elves have healing. So when you're down in the damage value versus a healing faction, that can get pretty rough. And the High Elves have just had more agency. They can charge in when they want to with their dragons and Rahagra's Pride and stuff. You know what would really force the High Elves to fight? Is it a Plague Claw Catapult way? Because it might be. I might see what you're getting at here. But yeah, artillery is generally a good way to get kiting factions to focus up and fight you. Mighty Roar is popped for Rahagra's Pride, hitting all of these units. They're so close to routing. Actually, those Dwarf Warriors didn't get hit by the Mighty Roar. They would be routing, and then they probably start a chain route because they take those miners with them. Rahagra's Pride taking a lot of damage, though, as the Longbeards and some arrows take their day out on them. Miner's going to rout here in a second. Nope, they managed to hold where their Dwarf Warrior compatriots did not. The High Elves are making their play for the Bolt Thrower on that side. Meanwhile, Gyrocopter is chasing a unit of White Lions. The best it can offer for now, and Imric is getting away. He has 2 breath attacks left. I wouldn't hate to see one onto this healthy Dwarf Warrior here, or something. All right, Way, I'll come clean with you. I was fucking with you this time. We have not seen Skaven today at all. The other times I told you there was a Plague Claw Catapult, I was being serious. This time I was not. I did my one and only fib. Dwarf Warriors are running at the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, so they won't be online for very long. They will have to disengage and run away. Rune of Negation is popped onto the Bugman's Rangers, who have almost heal capped as these Miners and the Longbeards continue to do battle against the Pyramid Company. Another Dragonhorn is popped, and is that the last one? No, he has one more Dragonhorn left. You guys are all on about Boo Kite. I don't like Kite, and I only do it in matchups where there are little other options. That sounds reasonable, sir. And I just said, I know Kite is a viable playstyle. I know there are Kite games that don't suck, for sure. I was just saying I personally don't prefer to play it or cast it. Personally. Which is fine. There are some people that really vehemently hate boxes. I hate casting boxes. I don't really mind playing against the box as much. There are some really degenerate blobs in boxes that are just super stupid, but those are stupid on their own. Like, because one box isn't fun doesn't mean I don't enjoy boxes in general. I don't really mind breaking up Empire boxes or things like that. High Elf Spear boxes piss me off. That's just because their stats are so fucking high that it's like a checkbox. Can you get through their stats? Yes, no. If no, surrender right away. But yeah, boxes aren't my favorite. I definitely like playing Rush versus Rush, or heavy shooting. That's good. That means RTSs are dead. We all know as good red as a dead rat. Oh, sad. If only Chariots were decent, we would have had a much quicker game. I mean, some Chariots are good, but it's really spotty which Chariots are good and which Chariots are god-awful. Knighthood, that's fine. I've just... never mind. It's just... never mind. Nobody's saying the High Elves are playing this wrong. We're just saying it's boring, which both can be true. Like, the correct way to do something can be not very exciting. That's just a thing that is possible. Like, the correct way to play the Khorne versus Nurgle matchup as Nurgle is to hard blob your ass off. And that's not exciting, but it is the correct way to play it. So no one's saying you're incorrect for the way you play your faction. It just also can be true that it's not super fun to watch. You know? Alright. Anyway, Bolt Thrower crews trying to chase off Bugman Rangers since they can't get back to their mounts, which have a Longbeard and a Dwarf Warrior just standing on the mounts. Imric's still trying to duel Thoric. Thoric is fighting back against them, but an overcasted regrowth is going to make all those boo-boos go away. And Imric should be able to beat up Thoric now, especially with White Lions nearby. But the fact that this is even a close duel whatsoever does tell you a lot about Thoric and why most people think he should be nerfed. But that is in conjunction with other Dwarf Lords need to be buffed. It's not just nerf Thoric and leave it alone. For the love of God, buff Ungrim, Grombrindle, and Belagar, please. Anyway, Thoric's doing his best to duel Imric, but Imric is now starting to get the better of him, beating his ass, and he has his armor sundered by the White Lions. I'm just making the Jack Norman's comment. Oh. Okay, I see. He's also a pretty good high elf main, so a little bit of friendly fire there. Yeah, I thought you meant that, like, this game is super entertaining and awesome because the high elves didn't run into blasting charges, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, they're gonna win because they played it like that, but that was a 16-minute horrendous affair. Master Rune of Negation is popped, but Lord of Dragons brings his melee attack down to 5 and his melee defense down to 26. Without Thoric, army losses hits. And the High Elves will win. In a fitting game to declare... my week-long break from Warhammer 3 streaming to begin. Anyone who kites should get kicked from the game right now. Jack Norman, I am afraid you would get kicked. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jack. But I know you and your kiting ways. You don't play kite all the time, but when you do, it hurts. All right, they are all scheduled on the Yub Tub, but let's go take a gander. All right. In the next week, we have a bunch of stuff. We have on the 8th, which is Tuesday, we have our Skyrim stream. One Life, How Long Will a Dragonborn Actually Survive? Dark Souls on Thursday, 50 push-ups every time I die. Friday night, we will have a Puppet Masters board game stream. Those are usually fun and chill. And then on Saturday, with the Wild Platy, we talked about him earlier in the stream due to being a domination caster. But we'll be playing some League of Legends with him. Some just kind of chill, for fun content, while I take a little break from Warhammer so I don't get burnt out on casting it just before a brand new patch arrives. And then I am hoping to know by then when I'll get early access. And if you don't see a lot of streams from me for a bit, that is probably because I am making early access content that will release before the next DLC comes out. So we'll see how that goes. I'll have more information as that week off ends. Because right now, it is radio silence on my end. I have not heard anything DLC related or otherwise. Okay. Come stop by for this diversity content if you want to. If it is not your bag, that is fine. We'll be back to Warhammer stuff next week, but not this week. And if you like our new player tournaments we do every week, Tactical Lich... Tactical Lich down here on my sub list. We'll be casting our new player tournament this week. I asked him ahead of time. He will coordinate it and do all that stuff during my break. And here is the Wild Platy, that domination guy we were talking about. So, GG's. Well played to everybody. It was a fun little silly event. And that's it. GG.